Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in this big old wide world, ladies and gentlemen. This is the GLL Spring Masters. We're here to go through the final day for APAC South here for Apex Legends. I'm Nathanius, joined by Axel Toss, and that's right, we are on day 2. If you missed yesterday's action, it was all over the place. We had some fantastic games. And you know, Axel Toss, it's been some good times. I'm going through the schedule really quickly. Here is the overview for this weekend. So if you missed yesterday's show, we went through match 1 through 8 of APAC South. And then as you can see, we went through the same thing actually for the European finals as well as the North American finals. So you literally had Apex Legends to watch all day long here. And guess what? The same exact thing is going to happen today. Okay, there's nothing is changing. We've got tons more Apex Legends, tons more games to watch. And here are our results from that first day as we were looking at our schedule of games. Wolfpack Arctic really took a huge lead in that first day. Invade Esports, one of the other teams that got 2 wins yesterday, but even they still have quite a mountain to climb because Axel Toss, this has just been a pretty tough tournament for everybody except Wolfpack Arctic. They've kind of jumped ahead of everybody on their way here, haven't they?
They have. They've had the most consistency amongst all of our teams. Third place, first place, second place, first place, second place. Just reading through a few of the results from yesterday. And that's why in the standings, their point advantage is so strong. As we're seeing a look at the prize pool, a decent amount of money available for these players. And also, we have a bonus match on Sunday tomorrow, so we have more Apex Legends today, and there's a show match happening tomorrow. So
that's right.
I love it. So much Apex Legends happening. Yesterday was such a full day, and here's the leaderboard. That full leaderboard I was talking about. That point differential. Wolfpack Arctic just separating themselves from the rest, but we're through half. We're at halftime. So as I said yesterday, anything can be undone that was done, right? So. We'll see who can rise up here today. And I'm interested. You guys in the chat, let us know your favorites. Also, let us know where you're from. I'm curious. Where are you watching from right now?
Yeah, and man, I think the most insane thing that we were talking about yesterday. So Wolfpack Arctic has over double the points of second place. So they are really, really, really far ahead. But second place through 10th are only within 12 points of each other. From 10th place to second. So the gap there is incredibly small. It's not too far-fetched to say that any of these teams could at least try to contest up for that second place prize pool, because we were talking about it. There's a good amount of money at stake. Everybody, of course, you want that 5G first place, but Wolfpack Arctic, I don't think I'm going to talk about them possibly throwing this position away until we have them die like 3 times with no kills early on. If that happens, then maybe the conversation starts up. But yeah, as you said, they've been so consistent, deep finishes in every single game yesterday. And naturally with 61 kills and a couple of first place, you're going to find yourself very far ahead. That is exactly where they are. Grape, the team that beat them in the ALGS finals for the winter circuit, for APAC South, just barely, who beat them, are trailing by half as many points. I don't even know where I go to break it down, because everybody's kind of had a methodical sort of approach to the tournament from this region. It hasn't been quite as aggressive, but Axel Toss, nobody seems to be able to keep up with the Wolfpack.
Yeah, it's impressive. I will say something interesting that happened yesterday with a couple teams. Invade for one, right? At the end of yesterday, they won 2 games in a row. So they're like, okay, we're just going to win twice in a row to end the day yesterday. The 2 games before that, they got dead last. So
yeah.
So I'm really looking forward. I'm looking to, see if some of these teams can kind of, show consistency, right? It's fine to have a great game and to win a couple times, but can you really tie it together? And if we can see that today from one of these other teams, other than Wolfpack Arctic, then we're going to see a close day. But at the same time, it's very likely that Wolfpack Arctic can just come out of the gates running hard and keep it up what they were doing yesterday, keep it up today. However, Wolfpack Arctic, they got 17th, so they got second to last place in their first game yesterday. Something interesting to consider. But we know how much kills affect things, points. If you can have an amazing game, and maybe it's this game that we're going to see coming up in a second. If you can have an amazing game, rack up a ton of kills, we know how many points are out there. And that happens in some of these lobbies across all the regions. You'll have one team just completely wreck the lobby. Maybe they get amazing loot early and they're just able to make it happen. Maybe they get fortunate with some third parties. But sometimes you'll have a team just accumulate so many points from one game. And that's what all these teams really have to look for. And if they can do that once or twice, then they're back in the ball game.
Yeah, we had at least one game where I know one of the other teams had like 15 kills yesterday, which was nice. But it's just so hard to compete when Wolfpack will just show up one of these rounds and drop a 20 bomb after 20 bomb after 20 bomb. And the rotation patterns have been very aggressive, like we've been saying in the APAC region. APAC South has not been quite as aggressive as APAC North, which we actually covered the finals Axel and I together earlier this month. But I'm thinking about it, and I'm trying to think about where the holes are, where people maybe make changes. I ask myself, are we still going to have the Revenant on? I think it might have been K7
Revenant,
NLN.
Crypto.
We had the Revenant Crypto squad with the Horizon.
I think it was
something like that. Interesting combinations that we've had. We also had Caustic on. I think NLN was Caustic's team on Itsuru Summer. So are we going to see that again today? Because it was the only player going for that. That's to me the most interesting thing, are adjustments that teams make going into the second day of the tournament.
Yes, also some side storylines. We Are Trash playing like really well yesterday, which surprised me a little bit at least. That's kind of a funny side storyline. Will We Are Trash show up today and disprove their name once and for all? K7 might have been one of the big stories from yesterday because Nathanius says their roster name so well. But also they had a couple like atrocious games where they got 18th and 16th. But then they came back and won round 5. Then they got 4th place. So they were kind of up there. What do you think about K7 Esports? I'd like you to do just a quick deep dive on K7 if you don't mind.
Well, it really all comes down to their captain Corey. He has TTV in his name, and as we know, especially when you play Apex Legends, having TTV in your username increases damage you receive by about 50%. As evidenced by all of my Wraith mains on my team when I solo queue, who instantly die and disconnect at the start of basically every round that I play. Now, of course, if that was, say, the ice cream, then the banana and the strawberry syrup and ice cream or whatever it is you're putting on top of your banana split, you complete it with, of course, his teammates. Who is, in my opinion, probably one of APAC South's strongest sort of point mans, been good rotations, moving around a lot. But really, then you get over to the Octane, the cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, and his movement has actually been pretty gnarly. We've had really good teams. Like I said, Grape, they're in second right now, and they won ALGS for APAC South, but they also had at least 1 or 2 rounds that we saw where they died in the first 5 teams or even the first 3 teams. So they weren't always able to maintain that consistency. So I'm going to use the inverse of that and say that. So K7 has had some bad finishes, but I think all that really means is that they could be as good as the ALGS winners, right? So at that point, the entire tournament's blown wide open. But none of it matters if they can't stop Wolfpack Arctic, because at this point, even if you told yourself you were going to play for second, Wolfpack Arctic is still going to destroy your mental. They are going to cause your team to fracture and split, and you'll need to do a good job of keeping your composure because, one team is just so much further ahead. We didn't have this happen in APAC North, not until the second to last game. That was when T1 finally got up like 30 points over a second. But until then, it was still within like 5 points, right? Or something insane like that. So I have no idea what to expect. I think Wolfpack Arctic will remain consistent. that consistency is what I want to see out of the other good teams, because there are other good teams here. They just aren't consistently making top 5 like Wolfpack is.
Yeah, and you know, coming into this tournament, Wolfpack Arctic wasn't necessarily a Bonjour by any means, like dominating every tournament. That wasn't necessarily happening. So there have been other teams that have risen up and had really good days in other tournaments. So that could definitely happen today. I want to read out some of the. I asked about where people are from. So shout out to all you guys from around the world tuning in. It's pretty cool. I'm going to read out some of these countries: Indonesia, United Kingdom in cities, Montreal, Spain, California, Denmark, Costa Rica, Mexico, California again, New Zealand, Belgium, England. We have a very international audience. Love to see it. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We're moments away from beginning the second half of our coverage. And if you're new to the chat, go ahead and tell us where you're from if I didn't say it already. But really cool to see an international audience tuning in. And again, we have a full day of Apex Legends today, covering the APAC, the remainder. It's a finals day across all these regions, right? So we have the final of APAC South incoming right now, and we're about to get into the first game. And then we have other regions incoming as the day goes along. So make sure you're buckled up and ready to watch some Apex Legends today. You're in the right place.
Hell yeah, as we are getting into it. Excellent timing with that, by the way. As we take a look at Wolfpack Arctic dropping in for match 9 of 16 as we start off our second day here at the GLL Spring Masters for APAC South. And just to quickly clarify for anybody, like you said, anybody who may be just tuning in for the first time today or wasn't able to catch all of the information yesterday, the point system is just straight up 12 points for first place, goes down to 9 for second, 7 for third, etc. You get 1 point per kill, so getting those frags is going to be super important for everybody in the game. But also, this is not the ALGS match point system. So whoever has the most points at the end of all 16 rounds, we played the first 8 yesterday, playing the second 8 today. Whoever has the most points just wins. That's it. Period. There's not too much else. But you know what I'm already noticing? It looks like quite a few teams have dropped Fragment West compared to yesterday. It seems a little bit more condensed and claustrophobic there. They're starting to fan out. Okay. I was wondering if we were going to have some early skirmishes in this one, Axel Toss.
Yeah, that's an interesting area too, with some tricky high ground, tricky low ground. I don't like fighting there. But yeah, it looks like we are seeing an early fight for territory, which is very surprising. And this is kind of a, there's not a lot of loot in this specific area where these guys are. We're not jumping in immediately because there's going to be a little bit of latency in the early stages of these games. And that's just on our side, and that'll go away after a minute or so.
It's not affecting the players as much as it is the productions in Europe. The games being played in APAC South, sometimes it'd be like that. We don't have quantum tunnels yet for sub millisecond latency. Not yet. This building though,
another team coming over though. This is kind of fun.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite positions actually. One of my favorite drop spots in this game is that specific building, but it's turned into a bit of an aggressive position as INV not only gets a clean up there, but then the move in comes in. We got Cleason and Mix with Heavier Savior coming in there as well. So the first two teams then eliminated at the beginning of this round pretty quickly. Not something that we have seen quite as often. Yeah, just 18 squads left. Take a look back over on X team northeast of that epicenter. You've got the ult ready on Octane, so if you want to try to disengage or just YOLO it into the enemy team, both solid options. Go for a little W key strategy. You can also try to play it safe. If you die here, you're not getting any placement points. So that's the risk these teams taking these early engagements. Of course, you can get those kill points that we were talking about earlier, and you get some good shots in with that alternator. Really good control on the fire there. Amazing attachments to have found immediately on the drop with it. So he's got a good setup to try and take this trade. Stim's going to pull back. You're waiting for that opportunity to come in. I think with that purple mag, the alternator gets a little bit dirty in this situation. Devastating early game weapon. Don't need too much. Got the hammer points on the P20. Clapping on that Gibby. Couple of good shots come in, and the team from the backside helps clean it up. So we get to watch Belkun basically cash in a triple right in front of our very eyes. Well, if you weren't awake now, Axel Toss, I know it's 4 in the morning for us, but I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel a little bit of that blood pumping.
It's cool. It might point to a mentality of these teams right now that they need to be aggressive. They need to rack up kills. There's no continuation from here. There's not 32 rounds, Nathanius. There's 16. We're not playing for another week. No, this is the last day. So these teams have to make a decision. Are they going to be aggressive? Are they going to third party these fights? And are they going to rack up these points that they need? Or are they just going to sit around and try to hide somewhere? And I think we're seeing a bit more aggression today, and I love it. I'm here for it. As we see another fight unfold. You always like it when these guys are a little more aggressive versus what we saw once or twice. Oh, here's our famous K17. Take it away, Nathanius.
Yeah, we've got K7 over here, and there's Noobles and Renji Maru as well. So they're kind of in an awkward situation with them and Knight on this spot. And we got to cover actually both these teams a good bit. Tries to take the peek there on the Gibraltar, not able to get it done. This is the Octane we were talking about. Got the flatline rolling, blue mag, so decent reload speed, decent capacity. Roy steps up with the scan on Bloodhound. Of course, pushing into a building like this is always going to be difficult, but it looks like another squad has actually entered. Zabby and Keck W come in and actually pinch the enemy team. So Roy gets knocked, but Woo and Cha-Cha-Cha are still alive. Zabby coming down the bottom of the ramp. He's on the bot side, trying to get a clear through this bubble, but I think he gets picked right as he attempts to go through. So that gives a Woo time to get the res. They're going to hide underneath the stairs from that Gibraltar ult, and we take a swap back over here to Team Noir as Bastion still doing everything he can to hold it down at the edge of this ring. Axel Toss, you were completely right. We've got the crazy aggression to start this off. Way more action early in this game than in almost any of the rounds that we had yesterday.
Look at that. It seemed like Noir was distracted by another team for a moment, which was a huge break for K7. K7
They're
Esports
in the same place. Noir showed up to the same building that we just had 3 teams die in.
Right, but K7 survived somehow. They were on the last hair of their chin, but Noir ran off. But now Noir is re-engaging. So K7 Esports, maybe that worked out really well for them. Certainly, they have a lot more shields than they did just a couple moments ago. So we might have another fight unfolding here.
It feels almost inevitable in this situation. You've got a team boxed up in the house. The other guys coming around the outside. Roy was able to get about 30-40, looks like, onto the enemy player just outside that window. Swinging back around towards the roof. Going to hop over, looking down. Tries to track the shot, but they're in that Gibraltar bubble. So how much closer do you want to get? R301 EVA 8 is good combo. Helps get the pick finish. Roy on that down. That was actually Bastion X that was knocked there from Noir, who was killing it at the beginning of this game. R301 tracking, getting a lot of damage spread across these players, but not able to finish quite yet. Blocking the door is that Bloodhound. I like that though. The quick adjustment around the window, trying to take advantage of all the positions, the way that the terrain works, using the. It's like, oh yeah, you're hiding behind the door. Well, I know exactly where I need to go to still track those shots on you. Trying to hit Kibby on the retreat.
Wow. There's a jump pad.
It's annoying. Gibraltar can be quite annoying to try and chase down like that. You're going to have to really commit if you want to kill him. And they do get him. They get him, but
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
It took a huge detour to make it happen.
Hey, Octane, baby. We're seeing more Octane, I feel like, and that's exactly why he can be really good. Jump pad, stim. That Gibraltar was tracked down in a matter of seconds by Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, the Octane here on K7 Esports. So pretty cool to see that utility in action. Also the combo with Bloodhound. Bloodhound is really going to enjoy that as we have another fight unfolding here. K7 Esports only able to breathe for a second as it looks like BCG taking some shots at Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. A little surprised he only has blue shields once again.
So many players have died around these 2 buildings in this game. It's really something else. It's really something else. We've got that, as you were saying, K7, they pushed in on Noir, took that building after they gave up the building they had from the last one. Cha-cha-cha. I think he's getting knocked going right in. So here's Bear Claw Gaming. We take a look at Rudine. Drops down, has that Beast of the Hunt running. Gold Stabilizer on the R301 is going to make that close-up spray a little bit easier to manage, but can he actually get it done? No, he's knocked. So now it's down to Jubby Jib. Yeah, just Jub Jib out on his own, has to try and do it, and they do manage to pick off K7. I think that's all of K7 that gets wiped.
Another team.
But Direwolves is coming in for the third party. It doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop, Axel Toss.
This is Apex Legends, as they say. K7 is out. That was a very interesting engagement they chose. Bear Claw looks like they got finished off by the Direwolves, just like that. And is that the last third party in this area? Question mark.
I feel like
can we breathe? Look, everyone's chilling everyone's hanging out in the valley over by Geyser.
And they're all by Geyser. We never really see teams in Geyser. This is, I think, the first Geyser circle that we've had for APAC South.
Yeah.
It is definitely the first Geyser circle. We didn't have this yesterday.
Oh,
so bit of an interesting switch up. There's that P20 blue mag hammer point rounds. Just tap aroo. Very strong if you can aim with that P20. If you got hammer point rounds, that's one of those really fun things when they put that in the game. I'll never forget, because tragically you need to have like a somewhat intelligent level to use that weapon properly, and that's just not me. So that's ATH, by the way. So we were talking about the team with Caustic on it. That Caustic is already dead. It's just that Wraith trying to keep everything together for the squad, but I do think team is on the hunt.
Yeah,
trying to chase her down.
You're not going to run from Octane. Are you going to run from Octane? Is that going to happen for this Wraith?
He's the fastest man alive.
We're seeing the hunt. Oh, look at like 1 HP, a sliver of health. Trying to be quiet. No.
Rip.
There we see it again. Just that utility of Octane. The pursuit, ability to pursuit. We also saw a scan there from Bloodhound a little earlier on. Once again, kind of that synergy with Bloodhound and Octane that we're seeing. The jump pad, first of all, Bloodhound loves it. Bloodhound throws the ult down. He's even faster and has that jump pad. Makes closing the distance so much better for Bloodhound. And then the scan. Bloodhound scans, Octane pursues, right? If a team can figure that out, that's a really nice utility. If Bloodhound can scan the enemy that's running away, and then Bloodhound's like, all right, Octane, go get him.
Yeah, just that jump pad for the initiating and for engaging and disengaging. It's hard to overstate the value of it. I think a lot of players, of course, are already going to be getting ready for the adjustment out of the Horizon meta. We haven't seen as much Horizon spam in APAC South, but obviously being able to share some of the mobility, but also have the ult that can actually help with the fights a little bit more directly than just the jump pad is one of the reasons why we've seen a lot of her. But Octane has he's coming back. And you know what? That makes me happy. I love Octane. He's my secondary when I'm not griefing as Caustic. So I'd love to see that. Great shots, by the way, out there from Witsy. Taking a look at Direwolves. Witsy's been landing his shots like a god today. One of the stronger players that we have had. Let's take a look at the team tracker. Of course, we know Direwolves are still in it. If we're looking at some of our other fan favorite teams and our teams that have been doing well, We Are Trash is still in it. Tear Gas Warriors, Wolfpack, Arctic, and Shadow. They have 2 teams. Yes, they have killed each other in the heat of battle. So they tragically, they may be similar in name, but they are not similar in heart. Axel Toss, they must fight to the death for that cash that they're fighting for at the end of today's show.
Yeah, WPAC even in Big Z's name for some reason, even though he's on Team Grape. That's neither here nor there, though. What's interesting here, as we see inside the ring, the Revenant team coming out again. We see the ult and the engagement. Octane once again going to be used instead of Crypto, it looks like. Looks like they swapped out Crypto for Octane. And let's see how this engagement goes.
Yeah, we've got... Yeah, so this is what we were talking about, the Revenant team. They're using Revenant for the engage. They're trying to say, okay, we want placement points. We don't want to risk dying in a fight. But we also want to get kill points because we recognize there's no way we're going to make any money here unless we actually get kills. So that's the position that they've been forced into. As you look back over to EXO, we got Jaro on that massive, unable to really get it done. Unfortunately, gets ripped apart by that Eva 8. Here's Belkun on the hammer point P20 with Lahem. They wipe out Team EXO in the tunnels. So that's a fantastic grab there as Jaro, Rocky, and Player H are all down. And that gives that damage for the Evo Shield upgrade to level 5. So can't complain about that. That red armor looking nice on Belkun.
EXO is not going to be too happy about how that played out. Only getting in the top 10 there. They want to do much better than that. They have to do much better than that. And they're capable of doing much better than that to have a better standing amongst these teams. Not the best day yesterday, so EXO, a decent start, but still plenty of games today for them to find some success. As we see, what an interesting final circle, just coming square in the middle of Geyser. We see a few teams around, kind of picking a building. One team kind of in tunnels that's going to have to move forward. So we're going to see some small rotations. Also, we see a team on the south side, not to be ignored. We have one player that's actually caught on the other side of the storm, which is kind of interesting on the south side. I don't really know what's going on there. Looks like he's going to come back and join his team.
Yeah,
but we're going to have some small rotations, but not the worst final moments here for these teams. A fair amount of movement, but this is just going to get chaotic as these guys get closer to each other. And also, these buildings might just stay in play, so the caustic pick could be good if anyone has it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it could end up being devastating, but I think unfortunately, Mitsuru-sama never made his way back. Never made his way back into the ring to continue his experiments.
Atheum, Team Atheum, I believe.
There's really nothing that screams scientist when all of your experiments involve gassing other people to death. You know what I mean? It's like, what else is he working on, right? It's like, anyone ever ask themselves that? We don't really know.
We're gonna find out one day, maybe.
Yeah. I read the comic series with him and Watson. It was pretty good. So everybody's just, as you said, everyone's just hiding in these buildings. So this is the part where we riff a little bit, because there's not enough players that they actually even fill all of the buildings here. They had so many fights earlier in this game when we had, what was it, 7 or so teams all kill each other in those buildings.
This is a lot less than we usually see at this time, maybe. Usually it's a ton of teams that make it a little bit further. What's interesting to me here is
like a text that graphics cards were on sale in that building or something, I guess.
Well, I mean, there's still some players with blue shields, which is less than ideal in such a competitive lobby, especially. We're seeing some teams obviously full purple shields. It doesn't require that much damage to go from blue to purple, so looking out for that. Looks like we have an engagement over here. These teams have to rotate in the next 60 seconds, so there's going to be a bit of tension outside this tunnel, as I believe there's a couple teams here that eventually have to make their way to the west.
That's right. As we're taking a look at X Team, these guys have actually been doing pretty well today so far. Lots of kills, as you can see on Belkun. He has been a clutch player for them. Shield battery in front of the door, and coming back around towards the outside. I think we're seeing that enemy Gibraltar not too far away. Dyra trying to rotate around to follow. That's Wolfpack Shadow. Easy Flash around the outside. So the Gibraltar popped for them, but Easy Flash has his eyes on him. He's watching. He's waiting for that chance to get a pick. As we switch back over to Wolfpack Arctic now, they're on the east side of that canyon, or that valley, I guess, between the mountains of Geyser.
And they have a Kraber. Why not? Best team in the lobby by a lot. Already in a really good position. Have a nice Kraber in your pocket.
See that Kraber? Let's get that Kraber headshot. Let's give everybody in chat PTSD. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Everybody's already disoriented from how much action there was at the beginning of a batch.
Ooh.
Everybody got used to the EU and NA, the slow rotation plays, and they're like, oh my god, I showed up for this.
Oh, I think that was a double hit.
I think he hit both of them, yeah.
He was waiting. He didn't shoot it first, and that's so important. Kind of mentioned it yesterday. He was pinging like crazy. His team took shots, and then he followed it up with the Kraber shot, and actually doing so much damage. That
Easy Flash is a bit of an opportunist. He doesn't like to force it. He likes to set up that moment so that they can make a big play and all try to get the shots together at once, but it's been a little bit tricky, as you were saying. It's Zeratas, got the R301 aside from that Kraber, and a fantastic take there. They don't really miss their shots, if you guys haven't noticed, so that's one of the reasons why they've been doing really well.
Nice portal, trying to get out of there. It should work out for them. It looks like another team coming in to try to engage us. Wolfpack Shadow, the cousin team, trying to take down Wolfpack Arctic. Are they going to be successful? Looks like not so far. One man down. Got two players up, though, with purple shields. Bloodhound, though, running really low on health. Look out for the Gibraltar shield, trying to get their shields back up. That's Wolfpack Arctic. That's the Kraber from above. Oh, I don't envy that position. 271. That's what we look for. And those guys are pinned.
Yeah, he's going, and he wants to finish him.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure that Rez does not get up, if he can.
Suppressive fire from another team, it looks like.
Yeah, good void run to get out of there. Man, this has been crazy. Okay, so we completely flipped the script. It was really not as aggressive as I thought it was going to be. I was like, oh, APAC, like it'd be W key builds. That's not how it was yesterday. That does appear to be the case today, though. Axel tosses. Wolfpack Arctic gears themselves up for that top 5 potential finish here.
Already just a great game for them. I mean, again, we're seeing the Kraber in the hands of Zeratos. Like, they've got the Kraber, they've got full shields, they're in the top 5, they're already winning this tournament. Wolfpack Arctic doing exactly what they need to do here. Already a good game for them. But imagine if they were to win this. It's possible.
Yeah, it could get absolutely wild. We're seeing some pub level aggression in terms of these fights the teams are getting into. So a little bit of that, shared experience, I guess, for all of you ladder heroes out there, as Wolfpack Shadow still just hiding inside this building, right outside. That other team is just waiting for them. Emiliazi, I think is that team We Are Trash, I believe, right there. I'm still waking up over here. Give me a sec. So there's 2 other teams on the other side. Everybody's just packed very close to each other around these doors. And this is what happens when you have a finish around the buildings like this in a low ground area. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go that you're going to get high ground to be able to try and shoot down on people other than the roofs, right? And then everybody has the same level of roofs available. So it just turns into a giant stalemate situation until you get forced out.
It's like you want to control the buildings, which is why we were kind of not jokingly talking about Caustic a little bit earlier. Sometimes these end games,
well, he'd be beast.
Yeah, I mean they center around these buildings, and if you can control this interior area, you're in a good place. Direwolves, full red shields.
Rekasan only has 6 bullets. He's got 4 bullets left in that R301. So ammo was becoming a little bit of a problem for him. And Kazance from Wolfpack Arctic. Yeah, he's taking a couple of shots trying to loot, as these guys have been fighting so much, running out of bullets. People need to. You got to take a moment to go loot all the bodies on the map.
Or of attrition. Dropping the Kraber for the Peacekeeper. Not bad at all. Looks like 4 teams left. Everyone kind of splitting between these buildings.
I'll take that Peacekeeper. That's a good one to have for this situation. You're not really shooting down range that much anymore. Like you said, the verticality's kind of been taken out. You could try to jump in the geyser, but I don't know why you would do that.
It's all about spacing. You don't want to be third party. You're trying to get these other teams to fight each other.
It's just 4 teams left, right? Okay, there you go. Well, I think that's We Are Trash. That's just getting cleaned up right there. As Direwolves on top of the building. Wolfpack Arctic. There's the bubble coming down from Gibraltar. He's got the EVA. He's going to drop down on top of the enemy. Gibraltar gets at least. I thought he got a full shot in on him, but he wasn't able to capitalize on it. Zeratas going for the battery on the outside, but he's all on his own.
Direwolves, they've got this. I think it's only 1 up from Wolfpack Arctic, but a huge game for Wolfpack Arctic here. They're going to get second. Direwolves should win this. Yep.
So a big fat dub for Direwolves to take the first round of the day. So as I said, we have 8 rounds today to determine who our champion is going to be at the end of all of them. So after the first one today, 9th overall, Direwolves, they do pick up another win. But here's the thing, Axitas. Wolfpack Arctic is still finished second. Even if they don't win, they've been placing highly. Too. Yeah, they got a ton of kills. They've been placing highly. It's still their tournament to lose at this point.
I love how this started, though. A lot of fun, a lot of aggression from a lot of different teams. Everyone taking out each other early. And that might be because this is the final day of competition in this tournament for these players in this format, in this setting. So you got to show up, you got to get kills, and you got to try to close the gap between our first place team, which is Wolfpack Arctic. But no one was able to do that. Direwolves, maybe, yeah, they ended up winning, but Wolfpack Arctic getting second place, doing exactly what they need to do. I wonder if they're going to have the shot here. We had whoa, 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 and cha-cha-cha-cha-cha in action, but looks like we didn't see them there, but they were eliminated.
Juicy Cravers at least a little bit.
Yeah, they were eliminated a little bit earlier, but still had a couple highlight reel shots, and now, of course, getting onto the end game at Geyser area. Direwolves, not too much trouble, playing it really well, navigating it nicely. That's how you kind of treat an end game. You can see their health was pretty okay throughout that, which meant that they were able to be the team that was third partying and timed their engagement really well.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job of capitalizing on that. We're going to tally the scores, take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and we will return. Go get yourself water, go get yourself a coffee. We'll see you in a few for more GLL Spring Masters. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GLL Spring Masters here for Apex Legends. I'm Nathanius, joined by Axeltoss, as we just wrapped up our first round here for the second half of our grand finals for APAC South. And it's been an exciting start to the day. So the scoreboard for that first game, Direwolves picked up 13 kills on their way to a first place finish. Wolfpack Arctic not too far behind them with 8 kills and 7 placement points. They find themselves with 15 total from this round. Inside the Ring actually finished second place, but they didn't really get as many kills, thus not as many points. And what does this all mean? Well, Axeltoss, I think you and I both know what it means. Wolfpack Arctic have not really lost a step in their stride, holding on to this absurd lead, which they now hold over Direwolves instead of We Are Trash.
Yep, doing exactly what they need to do. You talk about like championship mentality. How do you make sure that you are the champion? How do you make sure that you win and you don't leave any doubt about it? There's a strategy there. There's a checklist, and Wolfpack Arctic, they're doing it right now. So it's going to be up to these other teams to try to disrupt that. I'm not sure how, because of how well Wolfpack Arctic is playing. But again, it might come down to just one of these teams just having a really good game. But at the end of the day, even if that happens, it's just like we saw with the first game that we saw today. Wolfpack Arctic, they still got top 3. They still got second place. They still did just fine. They still had plenty of kills. So this is definitely Wolfpack Arctic's tournament to lose at this point. It's going to be up to these other teams to really come up with something special to close this gap.
Yeah, Direwolves is going to need to win probably at least another 1 or 2 rounds and pick up another honestly set of frags like they just did, right? If you're pushing 10 plus and getting first place, you're kind of chipping away at it. The biggest problem is that it's not enough as long as Wolfpack Arctic keeps finishing top 3, because they're still getting plenty of points that, yeah, well, it's like, oh yeah, you got 20 points. That's awesome. Wolfpack picked up 12. So you only gained 8 on them, and their lead is still like 60 points over second place. So with only 7 rounds left, you're, like I said, the margin for error is so thin. It's absolutely terrifying. And I don't know. We're going to go into this next game. I'm expecting more W key action. We're going to see Direwolves dropping in here to World's Edge. Chat was freaking out. People are like, am I just watching some ranked stream? Is this what this is? It's insane. This looks like my pub lobbies. Yeah, well, you need kill points in order to win. Surprise, surprise. And unfortunately, turtling in the corner and waiting until top 5 is not a viable strategy anymore. For any team that has less than 60 points, there's only 2 teams with more than that, I think, from what we just saw. So kind of a problem. We are going to have an epicenter camp finish though, and I'm not opposed to that.
That's fun.
I don't think
I like it.
Have we had an epicenter finish? We've had fragment. We've had it over the lava bridge, so kind of close, but not quite.
I don't know if we even. I don't know. No, I don't think we have this yesterday. But I don't even know if we had it in the last region we covered. Honestly, I remember looking out for an epicenter finish because it can be pretty fun.
Yeah, we've had a few. We started the tournament with Harvester, then we went to Countdown. We had 2, 3 circles over there. Then it went to the southeast. Oh, here's SA. So these guys had a very rough time yesterday.
Jaro,
like Jaro is he's a little bit exposed.
Enemy spotted.
Yeah, Jaro having a lot of trouble here. Run! How did he get in this sticky position? Get out of there. His teammates coming over to help, but sweet assists. As Nathanius was saying, they're not doing it as well compared to our other teams. In fact, they've gotten last place a few times. Uh-oh, now we have a third
Yeah.
party coming in. Oh no.
They
EXO,
did
the
kind of get a
ultimate bait.
redemption thing going
Yeah,
yesterday towards the end, but
yeah. So, sweet assists and things. There are, we're you know, there are sweethearts. You know, we're trying to root them on a little bit because they're not faring too well in our overall standings. But unfortunately, I think EXO almost served as bait there. They were trying to get a free kill, but now they're getting third-partied.
nice little fight in the tunnels. Well, I mean, they kind of tried to chase, right? You're looking for something that you can pick up, but I see Belkin's name and I start to get nervous because he had probably one of the higher kill counts of any of the individual players in that last round. So he's definitely been a force to be reckoned with, coming in, cleaning up for his team. Unsurprising to see that by any means. Like, these guys have been dominating. I'm sure we're going to see them make another deep run this round very late as we take a little swap over to K7. And these guys have been putting up some solid fights. You know, unlike APAC North. If you tuned into APAC North, you might remember that this town was a very deadly place where lots of people killed each other in the beginning. And we haven't really had that in this tournament, not for APAC South, thankfully. There's still multiple teams close to each other. However, K7 are in a little bit more of a rotate away spot. They could stand and deliver if they see them.
Yeah. There looks like some invasive tactics for now, and something that I'm really enjoying. You know, we've mentioned it before with this Octane play. Just tuning into these Octane teams and seeing their movements, seeing how they decide to take engagements. We're seeing more teams run Octane, and it's fun to kind of see, you know, how they use Octane. There's a lot of dynamic abilities there. Last game, we saw cha-cha-cha-cha-cha and whoa. They got knocked out. You know, the team, they didn't make it too far in the game. And, you know, what I'm curious about with Octane that sometimes maybe I run into, you know, the YOLO factor. Does anyone know about this? And maybe it applies to other champions, but other legends. But with Octane in particular, the YOLO factor can be a little strong. You might get the itch sometime because you're always running around really fast. You want to fight. You might get the itch to YOLO and just jump into a fight. And I think we saw that with K7 Esports last game. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but they took a kind of a poor fight and they just jumped in. So you gotta kind of have a little bit restraint if you're playing with an Octane on your team, and be careful about that YOLO factor. So I'm gonna be looking out for that a little bit. And we'll see if that can come to fruition. But the moral of the story is be careful if you got an Octane. We see a bit of posturing between EXO and PK. Looks like neither team willing to make the fight happen. Although look at the shields from PK. We're seeing double gold shields from them. Meanwhile, EXO with just blue shields for Jaro and player K. So I don't know how confident I would feel if I were EXO in this situation, because they don't have the best shield, so we'll keep an eye on that. We see Skyhook becoming pretty popular for a few teams. There's some teams down on the bottom right-hand side that have to do some pretty wide rotations to make it into the top right, but I'm excited to see the Skyhook ending, as I believe Nathanius is trying to figure out some things on his end, so apologies for that, but he'll be back. And we have a fight unfolding. Grape looks like they're in a little bit of trouble, having to shield up. Got some purple shields there. Look, be okay, but feeling a bit of pressure. And this is the thing about this epicenter final circle. There's so many open spaces. If you just look around here, I really like it. I mean, the architecture is really fun. You have these jagged icicles that look dangerous and sharp that you probably don't want to get too close to. But you can see there's a lot of open areas. So you have to be really careful and tactical with where you're going. There's low ground, there's high ground. But there's not a lot of buildings, so you can't really hide inside anywhere. So you really got to be aware of your surroundings. And you can see just how ridiculous the high ground can be. So this should make for a pretty entertaining final circle as these teams have to take on this unique architecture, this challenging architecture.
It's such a fun place to fight in because of that, though, right?
Yes, exactly. I'm a huge fan.
You're doing great, by the way. You know, you'd think going so far out of my way to have fiber internet, these things wouldn't happen, but it's decided that 4:40 in the morning is when it wants to bug out on me. So I do apologize for that. But yeah, the way that this circle's been closing in, I completely agree with you. It's a beautiful landscape, but there's a lot of open areas, and it is very vertical, right? With the way that a couple of those hiding spots up in the middle of epicenter are set up. Obviously, before you reach that point, you're going downhill into a pretty exposed area. Honestly, is how it feels. You don't really have an easy way to get out if someone's holding that center position. So epicenter fights are always interesting. But we haven't, like we said, we haven't really seen those. I think this is the first time we've had a circle pulling everybody towards it in ALGS, at least that we've commentated. It might have happened in EU or NA, but we know when you got a million games being played, you do get a decent amount of data, as perhaps Caustic would say. Good cleanup here by X team, getting Savior heavier, Gleason, and Mix. So a nice team wipe for X team. And like we talked about earlier, these guys were doing really well in the first map. They've still been able to get a lot of work done, and that's what they're continuing to do. So I've enjoyed watching these guys. They've stepped up a decent bit since yesterday. We didn't see them quite as much on our tickers. Golden Cat Gaming, who picked up one of the rounds yesterday, is down to just one player though at the moment.
Meanwhile, EXO knocked out early. We Are Trash had a decent game last game. They're knocked out. Invade had a couple wins yesterday to round out our day when we finished the first half yesterday, but Invade, they're knocked out pretty early. So another indication of some early aggression happening. We had kind of a weird moment in this game with EXO where they dropped kind of pretty far apart from each other. So maybe they eventually were not able to recover from that. So again, still 6 games to go after this one. In theory, there's room to come back. But the important thing to note, yes, Wolfpack Arctic, they're still up. They're usually still alive in the lobby. And they are somewhere, as we see inside the ring once again with that Revenant ult. We keep seeing them bringing it out. And this is the team with Emily Ozzy that we saw. I believe they got 4th place last round. So I guess this composition is working out to a certain extent.
Yeah. Well, the idea behind it still makes sense if you think about it. You know, you want to use the totem so that you can take a risk-free engagement, or at least mitigate some of the risk, have that second chance with the death totem respawn. Because otherwise, when you run into these fights, you know you're always drawing in those third parties, you're getting other teams. But even if you use the totem and you don't succeed, just making noise could draw another team to the team you were trying to kill, and you like set yourself up. You can third party your own fight, maybe even. But we don't really see a lot of Revenant, and I think that's the only Revenant that we've seen here in APAC South. Probably because that's not as easy as it sounds.
It's a very situational. And maybe you have to get a little lucky, but if you're able to use it properly and effectively, I can definitely see the strength with it. I mean, you're just getting another free engagement if you're using that Revenant ult properly. So if you can do that in these competitive lobbies, more power to you. But we don't see many teams try it, so we'll have to see how that works going forward. As we can see, all these teams rotating towards the northeast side of World's Edge. We got a Craver in the pocket of our player here. Gibraltar? Oh, sorry. Wait, I thought I heard a Craver, but that's definitely a Sentinel.
Sentinel shot does sound pretty loud.
Wow.
I'll give you the map was covering.
The thing is, I was thinking about Craver because in a end game like this near epicenter with so much open space, these powerful sniper rifles can be such a huge asset. Like compare it to a place with like Skyhook with a ton of buildings. Like a Craver or sniper is not as effective. However, in epicenter, not a lot of buildings, a lot of open space. You would love to have a high-powered sniper rifle, and just especially when you need a lot of kills right now. A lot of these teams need a lot of kills. So look out for who can control those powerful sniper rifles as we get to this end game.
In this situation, there really is no way to win for most of these teams. There's no way to make any money without getting like at least a 10 bomb win, and that's like getting yourself back into that top 10 range, which is nice. But if you want that money, you're gonna need to do a little bit better than that, and that's, I think, the bigger impact of a team like Direwolves with that last win. It's not so much that they're necessarily contesting Wolfpack Arctic as they are kind of putting pressure on everybody else who is thinking to themselves, maybe I'll just play for second. No, Dire Wolves has actually got that one unlocked so far. They've managed to do a pretty good job of securing that, and we'll see how well they're able to continue to do so. But they don't really show any signs of slowing down. They've already had a couple of tremendous fights in this game, and we follow Wolfpack Shadow and Silver Sky on that Gibraltar. He's got the Mastiff. He has the Spitfire. No surprises here. I guess it's a little bit of a visual bug here. So he's got the R301 and the Spitfire is what it looks like, as they're all posturing north of Fragment. And you don't really want to get forced into Epicenter unless that's where it actually is truly ending, because that's just, you don't want to give up that high ground. You don't want to give up any of that position. We side Nutsuro-sama off on the side there as well, the caustic player for Team ATH. Ooh. Yeah, and they've got Crypto and Wraith supporting that caustic, as they've got a team pinned down here.
Yeah.
Trying to finish him with the grenades. Getting hit by the Horizon ult, pulled in.
Oh wait, Wraith can just go invisible and avoid all that damage. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Void Run, pretty useful spot to go. Caustic, do the finisher. Do the finisher, Caustic. Love that hammer too.
That was probably the that just made me shake my head. Like literally being pulled in by the Horizon ult, a bunch of arc stars in the area. It's like, okay, it's over. Nope, just blink away.
It doesn't stop. ATH was one of our stronger teams at the very beginning of the tournament too. We were feeling really good about them. They had a very strong result in the first 2-3 rounds. Kind of cooled off a little bit. You know, they've definitely gone for the interesting pick, right, with Nutsuro-sama playing Caustic. But he's a bit of a thick boy, you know. Bullets, not too hard to land. He takes less damage, but sometimes that isn't enough. There's the gas. We finally get to see somebody getting gassed. Rekasan actually pushed in the gas trap, forced him out, and that actually set up the cleanup. But unfortunately for Team ATH, we've actually got PK coming in on the third party. Nutsuro-sama is dead with the rest of his squad. That's Apex, baby.
I think I saw Wolfpack Arctic in the feed up in the top, not faring so well, but PK they handled that beautifully. They've had a wonderful armor situation this entire time. Heard the third party, swept on in here, and now they're doing just fine. However, the round is the ring is the storm is coming. You got to get to the ring at this point, so they got to get out of there. But now they're going to run into gatekeepers and edge guarders, so they got to be careful. But still, their armor situation, their loot situation, it might be one of the best situations amongst all these teams, because they just cleaned up the tunnel there. As we see all the teams we have left kind of spread out across this area. I like this. I mean, I like this, how diverse the architecture is around here. Again, you got some buildings around, you got some open spaces. It's a nice
thing about World's Edge, man. World's Edge is just a nice map because there's so much different stuff everywhere. You do get a little bit of everything to some degree. Although, you know, I'm a slave for Kings Canyon. I can't, you know, I've had too many good games. Too many good games there.
I enjoy
Massive
them all.
Slide on the bottom.
Call
Not enough. No. Well, world's edgy.
Oh, nice.
Easy flash on the cleanup. So Gibraltar dropping down for the engage. Silver
third party
got smacked, but here's that third party. We've been talking about this. Everyone's so aggressive. You need these kill points so badly. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha from Team K7 throws the grenade. He's going to swoop up towards the top side with that Octane. He's got the flat line with the gold attachment, of course, but he also has that EVA 8 in tow if he needs it for that close quarters fighting. I was going to say, did they actually?
They ran. The other team ran off.
Silver Sky. They got Silver Sky, though.
Yeah, K7, they're just going to come in there, scare that other team away, and they're just going to loot up and be like, okay, bye. We're just going to take all this stuff. Thanks. Wolfpack Arctic had one man down. What? Maybe two?
Ooh, Kazance is on his knees. It does get picked off. We get to see a little bit of that charge rifle.
Oh.
And this finally
might not be a top 3 for Wolfpack Arctic, which could be good for the rest of the lobby.
They'll definitely still get some placement points since they're finished better than 15th. But you're right. At this, I don't know. Maybe do they try to force a fight and then just say, okay, now we take like a little coffee break while we wait for the next game to start, or do they go full lockdown, turtle mode, You know, I'm talking 700 siege tanks and missile turrets. I'm not leaving my base. You can't make me come out of my room, Mom. I'm not going anywhere. Well, of course, the circle.
I know that reference so well. It's great. It's a good question. I think they keep doing what they've been doing. Don't necessarily play passive, look for third parties, and just still try to, you know, pick up some kills, even if they don't get the best placement.
Yeah, so there's the horizon, little whoop up. Some folks sadly looking at it, thinking about the patch notes for next season. That circle damage is ticking pretty hard, though. I don't know, Kev. That's a risky amount of damage to just soak up on the edge of the ring. Use the Gibraltar bubble to cover against the other ult, but this is where we just see a mishmash of bodies flying at each other. Team PK getting softened up by that Gibraltar ult, and then coming in on the other side, we got Team Naya from the high ground raining some bullets down from that R301.
Oh my god.
Is still a bit of cover, but yeah, this doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, Axel Toss.
Look at where they are, where this team is. This high ground that they found is so important. It cannot be understated. Being able to predict where the circle is going and finding this high ground, just that movement and being able to position that way is such a huge deal. And we're seeing that come into effect here. We saw all those teams down below. We saw like 4 teams behind one rock because everyone was trying to get to a better position. So shout out to Naya there at the top, finding a great spot to just kind of chill out. And look at this beautiful map. Like, again, this ending here, a lot of open space. There's some high ground, some low ground. So you got to kind of work your way around these rocks. That's why Octane can be really good here. You have a jump pad. You can get across these elevations a little bit easier. So we'll have to see how this ends up. Usually high ground
position is
fares,
painful though,
yeah,
right?
High ground usually fares the best here.
Yeah, because the other thing is they're also down. Jubba Jib got picked off a bit earlier, so Sun Series and Rudine on their own on the low ground need to find a way to rotate while people are above them. It's just you're asking for a little bit too much there. Sun Series gets knocked. Rudine, I mean, his only choice is to just kind of just stand there and die, and that's exactly what happens. We get to see that Peacekeeper off EA. He's got down on his shields, about 70% health remaining. Takaya-san gets knocked. He does switch over to that flat line, gets a good mag out. Can't really afford to take any circle damage. So going to try to go for the armor swap. Unfortunately, it is not 100% there. And K7, right, TTV on that charge rifle is letting it rip.
The positioning here, look, they're just looking back like, okay, we're up here. We found this nice little rock. And look at all these teams in that direction. 2 squads left, K7 Esports. I think they've got this fully shielded up. They're doing the third parties. They're just throwing everything they have across the other side of this ring. And we're seeing explosions everywhere. They're taking a little bit of damage here. Some nice arc stars from the other side. Looks like full shields are able to come up from this team that they're fighting. This 1 versus 1 situation. Let's see who comes out on top here. K7 Esports still looking really good.
Yeah, I got a good knock on Renji Maru there. And dropping on top of, I think this is one of the last players that they have. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, moving in from the behind. With that, Eva 8 taps the Wraith in the face, and K7 picks up this round. Well, you know what? I feel like we've invoked some sort of dark meme magic through the power of a woo-woo-woo, Koi, and cha-cha-cha-cha, as they have managed to pick up this round in stellar fashion. And that's when you talk about why people like to play Octane, why you're going to give up, you know, the team utility and just have the jump pad, but then 2 abilities that's just for Octane himself. That's where it really pays off in spades, right? He's able to zoom around the side. He gets that Eva 8 shot. You're also causing a distraction, but he had to run away. He had to run away from that Gibraltar ult earlier. So, and this fight was just a beautiful, by the way. I got to watch Caustic gas somebody, and that really warmed my heart for a competitive Apex match.
Yeah, the ending of this game was really cool, and paying attention to the Octane player, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, is something we're going to have to do as we get to the end here. And Nathanius, I'll probably let you take the commentary for the final moments of this highlight. But yeah, man, the Octane play, the movement, so good. And also the positioning, knowing where the storm's going, knowing where the final ring is, and being in the right place.
Look who's on top. The high ground position, they had the vision. Cha-cha-cha did not miss his shots at that Eva 8. And that was just really good play. When you're able to set your team up to have those opportunities where somebody's in a shootout with someone else, but then all of a sudden they have to watch their side because you're going in at 700 kilometers an hour on the flank. Like, what are they going to do? Well, you know what we'll do? We'll tally the points and get you updated on where everybody stands. We'll see you in a few. You're watching the GLL Spring Masters. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GLL Spring Masters for Apex Legends. I'm Nathanius, joined by Axel Toss as we take you guys through the APAC South Finals. Today is day 2 of 2. That's right. Tragically, we have to crown a winner today, and the APAC South tournament will come to an end. I know you guys are upset because you realize that after watching the W key madness of today, it will be a whole lot of camping, turtling, and slow rotations for EU and NA later on. So enjoy your action while you can. Axel Toss, we're getting some scoreboard updates after K7 with first place and 9 kills grabs 21 points in round 10.
Yep, the first question everyone is asking is, where is Wolfpack Arctic? They are number 1 in our standings. It's their tournament to lose at this point. And it looks like they did not pick up that many points that game, so that's good for the fields. K7 Esports behind the power duo of whoa and cha, just having a great game. The Octane play at the end. You mentioned W key. Maybe there's a correlation with the Octane stim key, right, where it's
all
like,
gas,
look,
no brakes, baby.
Yeah, it's like go, find those kills. You got to do it. Wolfpack Arctic, 135 points. Direwolves kind of picking at it a little bit, just lightly, very lightly picking at it, but still a long way to go for these teams if anyone's gonna catch Wolfpack Arctic.
Yeah, they haven't like maintained that double the second place point metric that we were losing our minds over earlier, but still a 50-point gap is quite nice. Wolfpack Arctic, it's still going to be hard for them to lose that lead, but Direwolves in K7 are really putting in the work in terms of the kills, and I think that's the most important thing to keep our eyes on, because when we see these strategies and we see the way that teams are playing, I just love when we get a little bit of action or some of these off meta picks, right? We got to see the Caustic earlier, and we know the Revenant play just so you can force extra fights. That's been something that's been a bit more interesting to see. And I love the aggression. Everybody stepped up the aggression this day because, like we said, it's impossible. Nobody's winning this. Nobody who just turtles to the end and gets max like 3 or 4 kills a game is going to win or get top 3 anymore. That's not possible at this point. You have to pick up those frags. So that just gets me excited because I didn't even know K7 was capable of that. And if I can just commentate a woo and cha flanking people with Eva 8s and dabbing on the haters, then that is a perfectly fine way to spend my Saturday morning, Axel Toss. And I think it's a good way to spend yours as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Again, last game, if anyone wants to go and just study or just look at a clip or just, if there's a piece of evidence that shows how this game should be played at the end of the game, go back and watch that last one. How that ended up resolving as it got near the end, and how K7 Esports handled it. This meme team, this dream team,
the meme dream
team with
the
power duo, and whoa, they handled it so well. It started with positioning, staying out of the crazy fight that was happening at the edge of the ring. They got the high ground, and then the movement from the Octane was crazy. It was so good. He had a teammate knocked. It helped him because he knew where his teammate was and he knew where the enemy was looking. So he just went around the edge, and it was literally the Octane. I think he took out every single member of the last team there when it was a 1v1 at the end between the two teams. So that was a clinic on how to handle that end game and how to use an Octane. Very nicely done. I like it. I like seeing it. So we'll have to see what happens from here, as we have quite a different ring and only like 1 or 2 teams near it, interestingly. So we're gonna have a lot of teams doing some rotations. And again, the things with World's Edge is a lot of narrow pathways. So if you're having to make big rotations, you're gonna see a lot of tension, a lot of pressure in these channels that you have to go through to get to the other side of the map.
And that's why you see a lot of the third parties as well, right? There's the key rotation areas mostly go through chokes, but there are obviously a lot of large and open areas that these players have been fighting in. However, I do like you pointing that out though, right? Like thermal station, we haven't. I think we've maybe had at most one. Like I do remember we had at least one finish where everybody was surrounded with lava, and whether that was at thermal station or not, we've done like a bajillion rounds of this now. So I just honestly can't remember. But this is at best the second time that we've had a thermal finish in this tournament. So I'm excited about that too. Excited for the chaos, the bridge play, those setups, and X, our wonderful observer, is ready to tell me that I'm a buffoon. He's like, Nate, I know you have NA brain. We actually every single game this whole tournament finished on thermal, and I just haven't been paying attention. In which case, I don't know. It's probably too late to apologize for that. So we're okay. In NA, yes. Yeah. Sorry, I was just talking about our APAC South one. I've been trying to keep track of where these guys have been trying to move through in order to get where they've been going. But we've had a pretty good variety of circles in APAC South that have kept it hard, I think, to be certain. It's been all over the place.
Yeah, and obviously, typically these teams have a consistent place they like to land. So seeing that variation makes it interesting for all these teams, as it's a new challenge every time that ring changes location. But you can see, I mean, what a great example. Not 60 seconds ago, it was empty. And now we're seeing already so many teams getting close to this area. And it just goes to show how important that movement is, and getting to the right place, and staying ahead of these other teams that are trying to rotate in.
Yeah, so we take a look over here. We've got Dire, Wolves, Beast of the Hunt activated on Rekasan, looking with that 3X R301 for the enemy. Not quite able to track him there. Could be inside of the building. EVA 8 as the secondary has been a super popular choice. Gets a good amount of shots through, but not able to secure the knock right yet, I think, from what we were seeing. And is that Noir that they're up against? Yeah, I got actually the headshot with the triple take. The teammate did. Bullet at the same time. That's the Gibraltar. As we see, Octane does get knocked, trying to make a push over on the door. You're gonna see a little kick action maybe. He's gonna go for the shield and then try to bust it open. They've got him stuck. So really good play. They just pinched him in that building. He's like, oh, I'm gonna hold the door. But there's two doors. There were two doors, Axeltoss.
And I'm loving the movement here. You can see Bullet looking around right when that fight was ending. There's always a third party happening, and as I say that, we have a team jumping in here, so you got to be careful. Going to look at Wolfpack Shadow now. Looks like they're in a bit of trouble.
Now we've got Easy Flash on the G7, purple mag, so a lot of shots for the tapping action at 3X to help it out. And Wolfpack Shadow on the rotate there. I'm wondering where exactly Easy Flash wants to go here. Both the teammates still need a little bit of time to heal after the fight ends. But I guess he's with that stacked up health and shields, just trying to cover for his teammates in this position. Gets a couple good shots along with that scout. But can he actually get to a point where they can stabilize and get the whole team up together again? Oh. I'm not sure. He's going to get knocked trying to get back over towards his teammate. As we go back over to K7, and we've got a woo on the R301. Bolt is ready for the Gibby, has the EVA 8 in tow. Roy on Bloodhound also been absolutely fantastic in this tournament. It doesn't get enough love because he tragically decided to use a name that made sense. So, what can you do? Gibraltar gets knocked trying to make that move in there for Golden Cat.
I'm partly glad, but I'm also wondering, what should his name be? I guess maybe the chat can help us out. If we have one name is cha-cha-cha-cha, the other is whoa.
Oh, it's already in his name, though. His name has more than one E, so his name should just be like, it should be all E's or like E. I don't know.
Let's not give too many ideas, actually. No,
there's a theme, right? There's a theme, there's a pattern. I don't know.
Oh,
is it against the rules to have 3 names that all are themed together? Probably not, right?
No, it might even be encouraged, but it doesn't make the commentator job easy. It makes it fun, I guess, but they can make it a lot more difficult. So I don't know if we should give ideas to these players and their ridiculous names.
Username game in esports is a big deal. It's very important. You gotta keep your brand on point. They've done a good job of that. They've done a good job of that as we take a look back over onto, I believe this is our Wolfpack Shadow
team.
We're seeing
or
this.
actually, grape, excuse me.
We're seeing this ranged R301 everywhere. R301 with a 3-time scope. R301 with the 2 to 4-time scope, and just a ton of shots taken from distance. I guess close, mid range, even a little long range. So that's kind of interesting to see. That's the weapon of choice for these players. The one thing is, it can be very ammo intensive. I know we don't care about accuracy in Apex Legends that much, but what you do care about is ammo and having enough of it. So that might be the one weakness of the R301. You're generally shooting a lot of shots, so you got to be on top of your ammo. But still interesting to see how often the R301 is being used from short range, mid range, and long range with those longer scopes.
It gets the job done. It's a great weapon. We see that switch over to the P20 mix. Unfortunately, Evil Shield was down, so picked off relatively quickly, and we have Savior coming in. There's the Gibby Shield. Just pops right back up. Get on your feet, soldier. With the Wingman and the Volt, not necessarily looking to take the 1v3. As we have We Are Trash, this another wonderfully named team, you know, certainly one I think people will remember.
Yep.
How could you not remember Team We Are Trash?
Look at all these teams right here, dude.
Oh no, it's just turning into a mess. We just got a big fat mess over here. So
not an easy place to fight.
On Savior, trying to keep this spot open. It's just weird because you have a good amount of high ground. These walls give you decent cover. The cliff is right there. You are above the enemy player. So it stands to reason that multiple teams would want to have this, since it's also at the edge of the circle. You really don't have a better opportunity to try to get picks on people running into the ring than from that spot. So you try to hold on to it, but it naturally is going to turn into a contested position regardless, because it's just too valuable of terrain to give up to any of the other teams, since, as we've been trying to keep in mind, guys, this is match 11 of 16 total. So after all of yesterday's games, if you're not within striking distance of that top 3, if you're not within striking distance of that money, you have to get, what, 10 plus kills basically every round for the rest of this. So you need to force opportunities. You need to force fights, or that's not going to happen. You simply can't just die 7th with 1 kill and have any hopes of making it into the money for this. You really need to put your pedal to the metal and step on the gas for any hope here, which is one of the reasons why this has been such an aggressive second day. And yeah, I'm not going to complain about that.
Yep, you got to rack up the kills. You have to. There's no other option. And that means the moment you hear a fight, you are sprinting towards that fight, because you don't want other teams getting the kills. You need to get the kills. So I love it. We'll have to see if anyone can catch Wolfpack Arctic, but that's going to be a very difficult task indeed. And I'm almost certain that they're still around in this lobby. Still 14 squads left, and we had quite a bit of mayhem the past couple minutes as all these teams rotating. All these teams rotating towards this ring. But looks like we have a bit of it's
like a long distance
for a moment. Yeah,
it's like a long distance poke. Actually, another team looks like it was coming up from the other side of where that mountain was. Bunny Hop got his shields knocked off. So a couple of teams are starting to get close together. XFam, I have my eyes on them. Belkun has been a devastating point man for his squad, picking up tons of frags all day on that Octane. He's actually just been a nightmare. But you can see Saber on the side, Emiliazi. Those guys are all pretty far away in this spot, though. Nice big open cliff terrain. It's a beautiful sight as we switch over to Wolfpack Arctic, our team that is quite comfortably in first place overall with points, and they've gotten there by just playing fantastically. Can't say enough good things about them.
Yes, and they had, I mean, obviously the same yesterday. They had a couple games where things didn't go their way, but literally only like 2 games didn't go their way, right? Every other game, every other match out of 11, they've literally been in the top 3 and also getting a fair amount of kills, and that's why they are at the top of our leaderboard. Wolfpack Arctic. Let's see.
Are you telling me that they're good at the game? Are you suggesting these guys are good at the video game?
They're pretty good at the game. They're in an interesting spot right now. You can see they're in the top right, not necessarily going towards the ring. In fact, they're kind of looking for third parties, and they're hearing they're hearing a fight happen. They're hearing this fight happen. So we're watching this unfold. But know that Wolfpack Arctic, they're on the way to this right now. EXO is also on the way to it. on their way to it from the other side. EXO has been quiet. There's no other way to say it. They've been quiet over the past couple days, including today. So they're definitely looking to turn things around. They're trying to third-party this area over here. But remember, Wolfpack Arctic is in the area somewhere, just to the right from EXO.
Yeah, this position has been a pretty solid one for them to try to hold on to around where these cliffs go. Holding the choke points is very normal. Like we said, you need to get kills in this situation. So they're going to make their way through, but they don't want to risk getting killed early either. It's kind of, there's not really a perfect move that you can make when the pressure is on you like this. It's no longer that just play slow, make it late, get a couple frags, and, you know, if you get 8 top 3 finishes in 16 games, then you're kind of cementing yourself.
Whoa.
That has not been the case. Team PK actually jumping in on that house with King and Flaws on the inside. Gibraltar Bubble is going to get popped. If you take a look at Little Flame, his shields are gone. He's just going to run in just on his regular health, but he's got that devotion. And is that a turbocharger I see on that bad boy? I don't think we've seen a turbocharged devotion in APAC. I haven't seen that in any of our games we've had so far. Of course, the Spitfire, we've seen a lot of that. Chat has said many things about the Spitfire, but that was an exciting engagement. And I think that's one of the things I've liked seeing about Team PK is they've been crazy aggressive on the takes.
Yes, and EXO was literally waiting for that fight to happen, and they sprinted in there to clean that up. So EXO doing a good job timing that really well. Wolfpack Arctic ended up going the other way, so they were close to that fight, but they didn't go and engage it. We can see them here engaging over here. Plenty of purple shields to their name. Should be
Good
okay.
Bubble. Good bubble outside the house. You've got cover by the house, obviously, but whether or not somebody's in there for the engage, you can kind of consider
Not a lot of
that.
ammo. Look, I was talking about this earlier.
They've got a team coming in on him here, Axel Toss. There's the Void Run in case grenades come in, and is he trying to put the... He launched the flames inside of there. We have not really seen much fuse play at all. We got Kit Meanie on the fuse, and that ring of fire, well, when you fire it into a place where there's not much room for it to spread out, it doesn't. And you just straight up, you're burning... He's burning the house down over here. But unfortunately, it's not going to work. And you want to know why? It's because they tried to go toe-to-toe with Wolfpack Arctic. And unfortunately for them... Yeah, that was not the play. That was not the play. Good cleanup.
There's other teams around here. Make no doubt about it. Wolfpack Arctic though holding it down. Oh, did he?
Yeah.
We can see inside the ring there in the next building over from Wolfpack Arctic EXO. We see Player K over there in the distance. All 3 members of EXO still up, kind of watching what's happening here. And then we see a couple teams down below. But you're right. I don't see K7 Esports. Only 7 squads left. I think that's EXO in the distance.
It was so cool to get to see the fuse play, but I feel like many people who don't like fuse just felt vindicated by watching that giant ball of fire not kill anybody in the building or set them up for any kills. All of Wolfpack Arctic still being alive is fantastic. Zeratas has been fantastic at these long-range shots. We've also seen Witsy over here on Direwolves be just an absolute monster. He's been taking a lot of these head-to-head engagements. We've seen the Octane players. You have to love the speed, but you also have to love the aggression to get it done with this guy. As we switch back over to Bullet L, it's gonna throw a thermite out and move to take this house.
Also got his red shield, which is nice. Direwolves, they are in 2nd place in our standings right now. They're trying to catch up to Arctic Wolf, or Wolfpack Arctic. But the problem is, Wolfpack Arctic, they're still up in this game. They are still alive. So, again, it's not going to be good news for other teams. But anyway, We Are Trash come in here. They got the Gibraltar Bloodhound and Wraith combo, trying to clean up, trying to be the third party in this instance. 6 squads left.
And it's been super intense. People tuning in. Welcome to APAC South. We've been getting very aggressive, as we've been saying. It's not a match point system. Oh, here's that caustic finally paying off big time. Twizzy down. Zeratas taking a lot of damage. And when you have a couple of buildings like this in some confined spaces, Nitsuro-sama has been able to deliver a little bit of opportunity for his team, as Twizzy is dead. And Zeratas and Kazance, they still have a lot of shields, a little bit less health. Med kits are getting popped. It looks like they'll be able to get that done. But oh man, I love getting to see that. That's the dream right there. Nitsuru-sama, you have the caustic, you have control over a building.
Full red shields too.
Caustic traps are things of magic. You can put them and hide them and stick them in so many weird places. I know they've changed it a few times because you can't put them on top of open doors or anything like that anymore. Sadly, they've made some. It's not quite as busted as it used to be, but you can still use them to block doors that are closed. And obviously try to cut off corners that a player might run into as they go inside to take an angle. So that's always one of the things that I loved about that. You can try to play really smart and methodically with the position, but as soon as you get forced out of that building, you suddenly feel a lot less comfortable. Because caustic doesn't fare very well in the open, especially as you can see, you can just shoot the trap. So you need to put them in places where people can't get those picks on the bottom of them.
Oh, he needs. Player K here needs 141 damage for that purple shield. He absolutely needs it. We're in the late game here. You need as many shields as you can get. A lot of these teams have red shields, and this rotation, I'm trying to comprehend this rotation these players are going to have to do. Where is this circle actually taking them? Not into the lava, hopefully. I think
this is messed up actually though. Like this circle is just not fair.
So there's a lot of teams that are just stuck on the other side of the lava, and this is going to be.
Well, you know what? This is actually just a reenactment of the Office episode where they walk over the coals by the beach. Okay, everyone's going to do it together. Everyone's going to hold hands. It's going to be magical, and some people will burn their feet, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
And looks like
Zoro goes through the portal with the caustic, so he's just gonna throw the barrels straight through the other side here. Sorry,
No, you're good.
I'm getting very excited as we watch Nitsuru-sama get up there. It does have the havoc, but only 20 rounds in reserve here. So if he fires that full clip out, he actually can't completely restore it. This is where you really wish you had your ult though. He's 2%, 99% on the caustic ult. At least try to get it out if you can get in the ring.
Gatekeepers.
Oh, the circle damage. Yeah, Nitsuru-sama's down. I don't think, wasn't able to get the big gas ult off, unfortunately.
EXO.
We go back over, EXO. So Rocky here on Gibraltar, moving in with that push. Oh man, I wanted to see the caustic ult. I wanted to see it so bad.
He wasn't able to pull it off. He had it ready though, didn't he?
At the very last second, it hit 100% as he died.
Right.
I'm not okay.
If only you can like pick that up.
Why? Like, can you give me like what's the lore explanation? Is like Octane not know how to open a grenade? He's like, oh, I could pick the gas bomb off your dead body and throw it, but you know that's against the Geneva Convention, so I guess I can't. It's like because caustic just doesn't apparently adhere to any laws. I don't know. I got nothing. I got nothing for you there. We do have still a couple of buildings in play, so had they been able to make it, it would have been great. But that's what happens when you're forced to run over fire to make it back.
Wolfpack Arctic, I believe, were one of the casualties in that great run across the lava. Look at all those death boxes. My goodness. Meanwhile, there were two teams just chilling in the ring, watching everyone run towards them. And that's why that caustic ended up getting knocked out. There were edge guarders already just waiting in this ring, and this is one of them. Direwolves. They had a really good game in our first game. Looks like EXO, and then one other team there on the right hand side. Everyone's kind of picking a building. This would be huge.
But here's the deal, though, right? Like you just have two players from Team EXO. They're on a rock or a boulder. I don't know, SpongeBob, whatever you want to call it. The other two teams are in houses. But we've seen this scenario play out a million times. Whoever gets into the first fight usually loses. Whoever can avoid the fight that starts is in a better spot.
Ow!
But EXO gets actually picked by both of them. There were bullets coming from both teams there, so that's... Okay, well, yeah, that's about as bad as it gets then for Team EXO. So Jaro is just going to hide on his own and try not to die. We'll see how that works out.
He rezzed his buddy, but now they have an ult on top of them. Looks like they will survive.
Do they have the Gibby bubble? Yeah, okay. So he does get the res. They have the Gibby bubble, so he's okay.
What? They're both shooting at him. It's like...
Yeah, I don't know. Jaro's just trying to use that mobility of to kind of go in and out and force these other two teams to fight each other. So we are getting there, I guess. But the final circle is closing, actually. So
2 spots left. EXO
they
down.
have to fight. There's no more chances. So yeah, Jaro gets picked. It's just now Direwolves going up against these guys up here. He's inside the building. With that, Gibraltar comes out on the outside. It's pulling away back towards this little open area near that cliff. So he's hiding under the stairs, using those as cover. As Bullet L slides up forward, he's got that EVA 8 with the blue stock. Not enough. Nope. We are trash. Is going to pick this round up, and that had to be one of the most hectic round finishes that we've had in this APAC South region, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that ending, we were on Thermal Station, and there's just not a lot of room, right? First of all, there's lava. You don't want to step on the lava because it will hurt you. There's not a lot of buildings, and the ring just kept tucking itself further and further left. We literally ended as far southwest as possible on this map, which is crazy. So that meant every other team had to go as far as possible to make it to that area. And at that point, it's just like, okay, who can get there first? Who can be there first and just watch everyone run in over the lava and just take shots and get rid of them? So Direwolves, we are trash. They were able to do that. I think they found the spot they needed to be in quickly, stayed out of trouble. At the same time, remember, Direwolves, they're in contention in theory as we go through these highlights. So Direwolves are going to be really happy with how that worked out, but still a long way to go as Wolfpack Arctic. They're in our shot here. Top 6, right? Top 6, top 5. Wolfpack Arctic still did just fine. And look at this ring just ending up in the as far bottom left as you can. And you can see the teams that are already there kind of chilling. You know, that's kind of where you want to be, watching these other teams try to make a move towards you.
Excellent breakdown, Alex. Yeah, that whole situation was just so crazy, because if Direwolves wins another game and gets those last couple of kills, then that gap gets closed a decent amount and things start to get more interesting. We'll take a look at the scores and see just how close things really are after this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GLL Spring Masters here. I'm Nathanius, joined by Axel Toss as we continue to make our way through the APAC South region as we are in day 2 of the grand finals. We've got a good couple of games, Axel Toss, and it looks like some teams are trying to close the gap with Wolfpack Arctic, but they still got a long way to go.
Yeah, and we might have some newer people tuning in, and I asked it before, I'll ask it again. Let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're from in the chat. Say hello in your native language. Meet a friend, meet a neighbor, and click on their name. You can click on their name in Twitch and actually become friends. If you feel like doing that. But really cool to see. Hey, that's up to you. But really cool to see just the international audience here. This is the Asia Pacific South region. We covered the Asia Pacific North region a couple weeks ago. And of course, this is the place to be for Apex Legends right now. There's a lot of Apex Legends happening across almost every region in the world. North America, Europe. Today alone, we have more Apex Legends coming after this broadcast. We have more regions coming your way, and it's basically Apex Legends all day. And then we'll be back tomorrow. So thanks everyone for hanging out, and I'm excited to see how this day ends up resolving itself. Obviously, Wolfpack Arctic trying to make this their region.
Yeah. And they've done a dominant job at that. They have been a terror to behold. As we look at the results, this is just from match 11, a match 11 of 16. Like we said, the winner overall will be determined after the results are tallied from all 16 matches. So we are trash with 10 kills in first place. 22 points is very nice. And I do want to give a shout out to Direwolves, who with 9 points in second place still got 10 kills. So they're point-wise, they are trying to close that gap, right? Wolfpack Arctic only picked up 10 themselves versus the 19 of Direwolves, 22 of We Are Trash. So that overall standing score is what I'm interested in, because it was a 50-point gap before. Now it's only 42 points difference. Wow. Still pretty far. And I mean, they've still got like 60 points over We Are Trash. So for them to go to first place, questionable. Direwolves, we only have like five matches left, I think. So I am not 100% sure. Direwolves they're getting there. They're getting within striking distance. I think they're doing a good job of locking up number 2, but beating Wolfpack Arctic means you're going to need those guys to have some terrible games, and Direwolves almost needs to win out, right? While Wolfpack Arctic beefs it. for them to overcome that first place, which really is just a testament to how insanely well Wolfpack Arctic has played all tournament long.
Yep, it is possible, but it will be difficult. It might not be possible based on how well Wolfpack Arctic has been playing today. If Wolfpack Arctic just keeps doing what they're doing, they've won. They're going to win today. So another team either needs to just go absolutely crazy, get first place, rack up a ton of kills a couple times in a row, or Wolfpack Arctic's just going to win. Alternatively, if Wolfpack Arctic gets knocked out like in last place or second to last or like bottom 5, that's another way that other teams can make their way back in this. But I don't know. They haven't been doing that. They've been pretty consistent. And not only that, they've been consistently in like the top 5. Like literally, if you go through and look at how they've done,
they don't have
anyone
bad
at
games.
home, just like go look at how they've done from yesterday and today. Their worst game, they got 17th place. They got third to last in the lobby. And that was the first round of this entire tournament. They got 17th. After that, they got third, first, second. Are you kidding? Just crazy consistency from Wolfpack Arctic. So that's what we have here. I'm excited to see how this unfolds. There's definitely, there is a chance that another team can make a run happen as we see Sweet Assist get dropped on and taken out. Is that a new record? Don't tell me that's a record.
Is that the fastest that Sweet Assist has been eliminated in one of these rounds?
Dude, I have a feeling that's a record. Oh no.
It might be. I don't know. They've died pretty fast in some of the other rounds, but yeah, this might take the cake for them. Like we said though, if any of these other teams wanted any chance of winning, they would have to hot drop and kill half the lobby and win the rest of the games. So that's just how it is right now, man. And I think that's why we've seen so much aggression. Because a lot of these players are like, well, we might as well shoot our shot. We're here, but there's no more room for conservative play. You can't get away with it. Even the second place team, if they only played for placement, could still easily lose getting top 3 for the rest of these games if they don't have 5+, honestly, 10+ kills per round, because Wolfpack Arctic is in no way, shape or form going to just let that lead go. They are still going to play their hearts out. They want to make sure they get that first place prize, because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to do everything you can to make sure you secure first place?
And I think it's doubly a good feeling for them, because all they have to do is keep doing what they've been doing, and that's a nice feeling. If you're on a championship day and you don't have to actively make any changes. There's nothing objectively that you can be like, look, we're doing this wrong, we're doing that wrong. If you're already doing everything nicely, it can feel really good and comfortable to keep on doing what you've been doing. So yeah, Arctic, Wolfpack Arctic, they're having a great couple days here, and there's no reason to think they won't keep it up. So we'll keep an eye on them and see how they do. And as you said, they're also they're tacking on the kills as well. Not only getting these nice placements, but they're still having that insurance of like, okay, they're able to get some third parties mixed in no matter what. And as we're talking about a Wolfpack Arctic, we see them on the minimap there, kind of making their way over to Fragment West. We're seeing like 3 teams there, so we might even see a fight. And 19 squads left, and we see them taking initiative here. Even though it would be bad. One of the ways for them to lose is for them to be knocked out in the bottom 2, right? Bottom 3.
Yeah.
Which they're opening
wiggle
themselves
room,
to that, but they're confident.
Yeah.
They're being aggressive because they're good. They're good at this game.
They have enough of a lead that taking like a risk in 1 or 2 rounds, if it pays off, is not a bad idea. Because if it pays off and they get a couple of early kills, then it doesn't really matter at what point they die. They really just need to make sure they're not sitting still at the end of any of these rounds. But yeah, it's an interesting point to consider though, like whether or not they want to risk that. Because if you see that their team gets killed early on, then everybody else in the lobby should feel more safe, right? So then they move in. And as we get ready for these fights to start up, did see some people answering your question in the chat there, Axel Toss. We got some folks from Norway, India, Sweden. Someone said they're from another dimension.
Wow.
Is Caustic any better in your dimension? Can you give me updates on that? Does he have
I'm surprised. I'm surprised the language is the same from another dimension, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. That's how I learned from all the Marvel movies, is that everybody in outer space speaks perfect English. Thank God, right?
It would be very inconvenient if that weren't the case. So I'm glad everyone got on that page pretty quickly.
Well, that's why they send the records out into outer space.
I will say, Wolfpack, you know, it's a very diverse region here. I read off the stats. I'll read off the stats again real quick. 38% Indonesian, the players in this lobby. 38% Indonesian, 30% from Thailand, 13% from Australia. That's EXO included in that. 8% from Malaysia, and then 1 player from India, 1 player from the Philippines, Singapore, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. So awesome representation. And of course, Wolfpack Arctic, they hail from Indonesia. So the question might be Indonesia #1. Is that what we're seeing here? Indonesia #1? Let us know in the chat. Who's #1? Is it your country?
I have a strange feeling that the folks in the chat may end up disagreeing with one another, but we'll see. We'll keep you posted on that. I'm sure everybody will put their hands together and sing Kumbaya or something like that, rather than argue about it. By the way, that area where we had all those fights 2 games ago, I see Saber. We've got there. Yeah, there's at least 2 or 3 teams I think that we had in this area that were already starting to skirmish again in this game. This was a very popular spot. You've got great circle position, solid vision of all angles, decent high ground, not super jumpable, and you have buildings. So always having a little bit of cover, hard cover that you can retreat to is going to be nice to take advantage of. Golden Cat Gaming taken out already. Tear Gas Warriors have been eliminated. Sweet Assist, I think, I don't know. I don't know if they maybe they stayed on the plane and just left the map before the game started, as we get a wipe there by Team INV. Invade Esports. They've picked up a couple of match wins. They've actually been one of the better performing teams that we've had here in APAC South. They have not been as flashy as some of the other teams, but I think that Sage and God has actually been terrifying to deal with. We got Flatline over on Jaro. Team EXO getting into a fight on the outside of where that ring is, using that shield. It's kind of expiring right as that Gibraltar hold.
Yeah.
Final payload comes down, but they do survive it. But more bullets flying their way. Kind of standing out in the open in the middle of the street. That's a scary place to be.
Looks like they're just able to make a third party happen. And EXO, you know, they need to be aggressive. They're pretty far down in our standings, and we were hyping them up coming into this tournament. But maybe they're taking some initiative now. Maybe they're realizing the situation and realizing they need to get some kills, and they've got to be aggressive. So we'll keep an eye on EXO as they make their way through Skyhook. Now we're moving over and taking a look at inside the ring. It's a tricky location. It looks like they've got a couple teams around them. One team down that passageway. They're actually getting sniped from really far away. Also, we see our heroes, K7 Esports. Looks like they're flanking Noor, and this is a nice third party trying to get a sandwich out of Noor, and this looks like some pretty nice movement here once again from K7 Esports.
Yeah, these guys slowly becoming fan favorites. The chat has obviously been a fan. I mean, I do want to say, despite all the memes and the love we've shown to and Roy E with the TTV and his name, of course, a real sign that he's a leader. Quite a few people in chat wanted to come in and let us know that he is also a based god who has been not getting quite enough credit for the work he's been doing for his team. So shout out to all of these gamers, because they've been a treat to watch. It started off with some jokes and some laughter, but it's turned into these guys actually making quite a bit of room for themselves. And that's hang on, I don't know, I might have to mute my
How to make
Nathanius
happy.
I'm getting a little bit excited, a little worked up for this early in the morning. He's unfortunately, like all good things, even the gas traps from Caustic do come to an end.
We see the somewhat central position of this ring here, which is usually not bad news for most teams. It doesn't require everyone to move as far, but we've seen how important it is to really be aware of your positioning and make sure that you're getting ahead of these other teams that are rotating in. But there's a lot of open space in this area, so it's going to be tricky for these guys to navigate. We've seen quite a few fights actually around this area today. Here we see Bear Claw Gaming. They were our first team to win, I believe, yesterday. It looks like they're trying to pick a fight here. Some Arc Stars coming in. Oh, and they're connecting. Bear Claw Gaming feeling a lot of pressure here.
Sun Series getting knocked very low on that Gibraltar. Bubble Shield still quite a ways away from the last usage. Jub on his own needs to try and make things happen here with that Horizon. Doesn't have too much in the way of hit points or shields, but just trying to cover for the team, try to create that opportunity to go for the res if possible. Takes a few more shots on the way down though, and I don't think she can get back to the team.
She's not gonna survive. She's not gonna survive this. Did no one see her drop down there? Or Bib? No one see him drop down there.
Get the teammates. Get the 2 points from the teammates.
Yeah, he was a few shots from completely getting knocked there, but it actually from the team getting wiped, but looks like that player will survive for now. And from Bear Claw Gaming, actually coming back to the tunnel, but we can see all these teams around here, all these players kind of posturing around this area.
Yeah, well, this has been a very popular spot. We had a couple fights here even last game, right? This position, we talked about it being right over the tunnel entrance. You can oversee a lot. You have the wall that's here, the natural hard cover. No ceiling, but everybody plays with Gibraltar for a reason. So as long as you make even somewhat decent usage of that, you should be totally fine. And we've got Savior Heavier coming out over here. Mix is down. Comes up with that Mastiff, though. That filthy Mastiff from We Are Trash, trying to get another dub if they can with the res inside the house. I know this house very well. This one is fantastic.
Oh,
a lot of places to hide traps here. Big Z's just gonna push straight in though.
Oh, that timing. The res was like literally a split second away from being done, but the third party coming in, and maybe dire straits for We Are Trash. They won the last game, and actually they found success yesterday too. Definitely not a trash team. They're definitely very capable at Apex Legends, but they got third partied, so I'm pretty sure they are out. Yep, they just got knocked out.
Sometimes
Wolfpack Arctic like still around. Yeah, sometimes it's like that. That's just, third parties are going to happen. And the thing is, Apex Legends sometimes comes down to such narrow margin. That was literally a moment where the Wraith was a millisecond from being rezzed by the Gibraltar. But it didn't happen. Third party came in at the perfect moment to prevent that from happening. That's how it goes.
No, it was a good play. This circle is getting pretty toxic, by the way. Wolfpack in the northeast need to make a bit of a rotation. I think that's Wolfpack Shadow. No. That's Wolfpack Arctic in the top right. Is Zeratas. So they need to make their way around because this circle is largely including unpathable terrain. But as you know, as it moves forward, it seems to be focusing a little bit more on Harvester over here. So our second Harvester finish that we'll end up with as they make their way down, but they're pretty far from anybody else. Team Exo has a lot of room to themselves. Nutsuro-sama's filling up the map with those caustic gas traps on that west side, southwest of the circle. And they're getting pushed up a little bit. There's Witsy and his gang. And Jub, by the way, is, I don't know, is it what kind of corner he's wedged into on the west end of the ring. But he is presumably attempting to avoid everyone. That is the Horizon that was left without a team. Well, they died.
You'll see EXO. You'll see EXO over there. Also, kind of, again, there's not a lot of channels, not a lot of pathways or places to go to make it to this Harvester area, and we see EXO pretty much guarding one of those pathways. And Wolfpack Arctic has to make a decision: are they going to take that pathway on the left-hand side towards the west, going through EXO, or are they going to go the other way, which would take them through the other Wolfpack team? They're probably going to have to move. Wolfpack Arctic. It's very low chance that the circle will end up being where they are. Also, by the way, we see on our screen here, K7 Esports, cha, and Roy TV there, kind of just chilling and found a nice room in this Harvester area and kind of waiting to hear shots, waiting for a fight. But we see these teams all playing relatively safe. You know, kind of a moment of just calm right now. These guys are. Once you get to like the top 10, top 5, I think we're in the top 10 area right now. You really play passive and make sure you're not the first ones fighting. You want to be the team that's taking the third party to give yourself an advantage when there's not that many teams left in the lobby.
Yeah, no, I think that's an excellent point to bring up. Like we said, you need to get kills. You need the high placement. Both of them together for the rest of every single round is the only path forward for a few of these teams. There's not really much that they can do if they're not able to pick up 20 plus points per game. They're not going to be able to catch up to Team Arctic, to the Arctic Wolf team, excuse me. So these are the kinds of situations that make it really nauseating, because then you're coming up towards this harvester spot and there's a whole bunch of different terrain and high ground that people are playing around and with. You don't quite have those same clear shots, so you're going to rely a little bit more on those bloodhound scans for vision. But then you see that they're all the way up there and you're like, okay, well, without the Octane jump pad or a zip line, what exactly is the game plan for engagement or a no horizon as that ring continues to close in? And Hiei from PK, he's stuck, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't really get much better.
It's Wolfpack Arctic that's above them.
Oh, God.
And also they have a Kraber. Wolfpack Arctic is a Kraber. You can see it right above.
Yeah. You have to ask yourself whether they can actually make that. So there's Kazanth actually dropped down onto him, and he gets knocked. So Twizzy's gonna go join. Did these? Okay, but do we have an exit strategy for?
So EXO, as I was saying, EXO is not too far from here, and we can see in the kill feed, EXO got a knock on his Zeratus. EXO's coming in.
This is terrifying. Yeah, Jaro's on top of this bush, and the team is just stuck there. He tried to walk away. Then he realized that there's so much outside the ring there, they don't have any way up. Someone needs to lower them a ladder.
Octane jump pad.
Yeah, that's the moment where you're like, wow, did we seriously not take Octane or Horizon here? And the answer is no, you didn't. You're dead. Super dead.
EXO looks good here. I mean, Wolfpack Arctic, they're our team that's in the lead. They're trying to, secure that win. But EXO, this third party is integral for them. So important. However, now EXO getting dropped. It looks like they were able to navigate that, and it looks like they were able to take down Wolfpack Arctic. Very nice third party there from EXO. They were waiting for it. Ooh, we see some portal camping. That's always fun.
And let's see that Witsy on the top side with that Volt R301 combo. Purple mag and stabilizer. He's got some nice kitted gear. Actually has a similar setup for the R301. So he's got the ability to unleash a hail of bullets against the other players. Having that high ground position is something that I really like in this situation, because all these teams are going at it inside.
Right.
But you kind of miss out on these kills, though, because we got a bloodbath happening. That was a grenade knock kill on Keck W by Renji Maru. So fantastic pickup there, going in with the R99. Noobles letting it rip on the Octane, has that Volt in tow. Trying to cover the door here, as it seems like they're going to need to make their way out of this building. This team, NLN, who came in actually pretty highly rated to this tournament, did decently in the semifinals, but have not really had that impact role in today's games. Kind of like Grape, a lot of missed opportunities in this GLL finals.
Nooble's getting some nice damage there. We're also hearing a fight in the background. 6 squads left. Remember, EXO is still up at this point. It's going to be a very important game for them. This is where, Wolfpack Arctic, they're out of this game. So this is where all these other teams have the opportunity to step up and try to close that gap. This is those opportunities you look for. Wolfpack Arctic, they're outside of the top 10. So who's going to step up here and really try to close that gap? EXO could be one of those teams. K7 Esports, I'm not sure if they're still in business. We're seeing in the top right, EXO, a player getting knocked. Taken out. It's Wolfpack Shadow making it happen. Of course, we're looking at Shadow in front of us as we speak. So he was able to take down one from EXO. And just like that, EXO looking like they're in tatters. They just had a great third party, but once they ran into this harvester area, they kind of got eliminated. Jaro might be the only man up from EXO, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and it's kind of the awkward thing for Direwolves is they had that nice high ground position, but as Team EXO gets in the thick of it, they're at least getting some frags on the way out here, trying to play for this placement as well. Every team that dies now is going to give you a decent little bump up in terms of that survival reward. Obviously, first place would be really nice. You do need to get a lot of kills, though. Grape is still in it. EXO, Direwolves. Direwolves were holding that high ground position, so I think they were in one of the better spots. They were in one of the better spots for vision against these guys. Jaro caught out in the open by himself, though. Not a fun spot to be. Easy flash from Wolfpack. Shadow, though, comes out. So he comes out to get the EXO player. But that's when those Direwolf shots come in from up top. So everybody's feeling very, very stuck. There's not a whole lot of maneuverability available.
Yeah, and I think everyone's kind of getting pushed outside. Everyone's kind of getting pushed outside. So the team that's already outside might be in a decent position. And LN got to be careful, getting knocked pretty quickly. That's Wolfpack Shadow coming in and finding a nice angle there. 4 squads left.
Took out Knight with that R301. There we see the Gibraltar ults raining down one after another from multiple teams, because that's just how crazy it's gotten. I mean, these players are absolutely desperate for every single kill they can get. We're on match 12 of 16. The opportunities to get points are gradually diminishing. Using that triple take, popping his way through that very weak level 1 knockdown shield.
Triple take. Got that
great shotgun, great sniper.
Got that extended mag on it too, which is nice. Running out of ammo. As you can see, only 15 shots left, which is, it's a fair amount of shots, but definitely want a bit more capacity to lay out some damage. But this is what I was talking about, Direwolves outside. See how they're outside here on this high ground? And they're kind of waiting for people to kind of come to them. We'll see if that works out. Looks like a couple teams are staying inside. Only 4 squads left here. Direwolves, they've been having a really good day today. They're trying to close the gap. What an opportunity for them. I mean, hey, if Direwolves can win this and pick up most of the kills at the end of the game here, then they're making a decent amount of progress to try to close the gap on Wolfpack Arctic.
Yeah, and speaking of, by the way, it did just finally the stream delay caught up with the chat on that poor cliff side getting stuck. What a tragic moment for all of us to bear witness to on this day. And no way out of the small sliver of safe zone that was always going to go away. And this has been quite an interesting round. It's been funky. We've when we get the harvester finishes, the game always gets weird, as you have all these long winding tunnels. Everybody's kind of in the same building, but not really, as it changes over a little bit here and there. You don't want to force the fight, because you know that third party is coming. As soon as even if you kill the other team, as soon as that fight starts, everybody else is just going to be sprinting at you full speed. 61 damage for Witsy on the 301, gets the knock onto that Bloodhound. Caught out in the open.
It's interesting how everyone just teams up on the solos. It's kind of funny. It makes sense in a way where it's like, okay, the deserving teams are getting rid of these stragglers, but now the fight is really beginning. 3 squads left. Direwolves looking good. Look at this. Their shields are in such a good position, but there's so many players so close to each other here. So this is going to unfold very quickly. Direwolves trying to find a nice position on the high ground, trying to find these teams that are going to have to come in, and I believe they're going to have to leave these buildings, and we'll have to see how this ends.
And he's got the jump pad on the door. He was hoping to launch them into the circle as they came out the door. 300 IQ play by Witsy does not. I don't think he was able to get anybody to kill themselves with the circle, but that would have been pretty awesome to witness had he been able to do so. Comes into the middle. We're seeing that Wraith Portal shenaniganery begin. Direwolf looking for another win, doing everything that he can. The Gibraltar is knocked. Him and Bloodhound very low. Now bleeding out is the Octane as well. But Direwolves do manage to take it in that final moment. I'm going to guess that Bloodhound was the one who got the last shot in. And that final moment, we were watching it from Octane's I'm crawling, dying, teleporting through portal perspective. Sometimes the late game can look a little bit messy, but you know what? They are doing their best to try to catch up to Team Arctic, because Wolfpack Arctic rather, because you get into a situation where your players are falling off cliffs and getting stuck and dying to the circle on their rotation, and then Direwolves wins again. I don't know if anybody has a chance. If it's possible, they're on their way there. If it's not possible, it doesn't matter, obviously, but it's still a hell of a treat to watch these guys strut their stuff.
There's definitely pressure on Direwolves to come up with a good amount of success in this game, especially with Wolfpack Arctic being knocked relatively quickly. And I say relatively quickly because they were like 11th or 10th, but still they've been finishing in the top 3. So when that happens, the question becomes, okay, who's going to step up? Who's going to be the one to rise up and try to challenge this team that's in first place? And it might be Direwolves. And look at this. They're positioning from the very beginning. Direwolves, you can see them on the right side of the screen there. They got that high ground. Their shields are in just a great position. They're they're looking and they're knowing exactly where these other teams are, so they're not caught by surprise. They move to this high ground, and then at this point they just have more people, more health overall, so they're able to come up with the victory there. Very nice job from Direwolves, and now this just became a little bit more interesting, didn't it? I mean, Direwolves, they are going to make up a little bit of ground on Wolfpack Arctic, but Wolfpack Arctic still certainly is going to be out in front. But of course, that's all going to be calculated right now, and then we're going to find out where the standings are at. I think Wolfpack Arctic, they're still going to be nicely in first place, but I'm liking the challenges that we're seeing. It's still not impossible for one of these other teams to make a comeback happen.
Yeah, if anything, they're definitely protecting that second place spot from any contenders, though. I'll say that much. We're going to tally up the scores and give you an update on where everybody stands as we get into round 13 of 16. Coming up next, we'll be right back. Welcome back once again to the APAC South Grand Finals here for the GLL Spring Masters. I'm Nathanius, joined by Axeltoss, bringing you some Apex Legends action. We get closer and closer to finding out who's going to win that first place $5,000 prize pool. Axeltoss, it's all about that money. You know what I'm saying? I am unbelievably excited to see what's going to happen. 24 points picked up by Direwolves. Not only did they get first place again, but they got 12 kills. Is it possible?
And they got what, 19 points on Wolfpack Arctic, which that's pretty solid. I mean, that's really solid. Wolfpack Arctic, only 5 points from that game. Of course, we're concerned about that because Wolfpack Arctic, this has been their region. I mean, through and through. They've been having an absolutely wonderful couple days playing some Apex Legends. So we'll see if Direwolves has been able to close that gap. Well, they have been able to close the gap a little bit, but we'll see how much. Ooh, Nathanius. It's getting a little closer. Once upon a time, Wolfpack Arctic had a ×2 lead on the next best team.
Well,
but now the gap is closing.
I didn't think it was possible. I'm going to be honest with you. Direwolves looked good yesterday, but they didn't look this good. They didn't look anywhere near this good. Strong for sure, but man, have they really come into their own today. They've grabbed a couple of dubs already. We talked about it. We're at 13 of 16. There are only a handful of matches left. We're past the halfway point on today's broadcast, just with the APAC South matches. So this means there is a ray of light. There is a glimmer of hope. If Direwolves keeps this up, they could take first. I don't really see too much of a path for We Are Trash to catch up anymore. But that competition for third is still going to be very fierce. And if Direwolves were to, drop the ball, at any point in this tournament, surely things could still go south for them. But gonna be honest with you, I like their moxie. I like the way that they've been playing. I love the way that they've been aggressively pushing and playing those late game circles. I think they've been really dominating in terms of rotation. They've been taking some of the best spots that you can have. Everybody's thinking to themselves, or small brain, let's go inside of a building and hide. These guys are big brain. We're gonna wait outside the front door and try to throw jump pads so that as you walk out the door, you get booped into the circle and die. These are the kinds of things that I just absolutely love to see, because they're not only so good mechanically, but they've been playing very smart. And as much as I have a million good things to say about Wolfpack Arctic, Axeltoss, Direwolves, well, let's just say there's a rival Wolfpack on the way, challenging them for their control of this territory.
And hey, I still want to see K7 Esports win the next 4 and get 20 kills per game, or 15 kills, and then maybe K7 Esports takes it, thanks to heroics from Cha 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 and Whoa, right?
Yeah, you just want to, yeah, exactly. You just want to give that shout out to the comeback for those guys, and then somebody in chat will be like, but the other guy's pretty good too. This doesn't have a funny name. Well, I don't know if you pay attention to the internet, kiddo, but it's all about dank memes these days, unfortunately. If you can't say something stupid enough to be remembered forever, then you're just forgotten.
I'm going to remember that one. In all seriousness, K7 Esports, they've been playing pretty solid throughout this entire event. and that's why they're in the top 4. All memes aside, so especially some of the Octane play we've seen from Cha 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 Cha. I mean, I've enjoyed it. I've genuinely enjoyed it. So they've showed up this tournament, and they're certainly on the radar of. I think they've gained some fans from the chat. That's for sure. They've gained a fan out of me, and I'm just selfish. I just want to hear Nathanius play-by-play commentate that team. Okay,
it's a good time, you know. All I do is aim to please. You know, I love Apex. It's a fun game. It's a fun game to cast. The matches are exciting. So all I'm trying to do is put a little bit of that garlic salt on it. Keep it nice and seasoned and interesting. And well, between you and me, it wouldn't be easy to do had a woo 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 and cha 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 not been playing so well that they were constantly on our eyes. So we got to take a look at Team SA, by the way. Again, will they be the first team to be eliminated in this round? As we do our little mini-map casting, looks like Moonlight here is taking a couple of shots over there. Jaro getting into the action while Player K and Rocky show up, covering his 6 while he pushes forward. Yeah, was it Sweet A? Have they been eliminated first in the last 2-3 rounds?
Yeah, we were debating whether last game was a record, being knocked out in I think like 10 seconds after landing, 20 seconds after landing. They were down. I guess even though it is lagging, if we can get a wide shot above these teams, I want to see the shields. I want to see the shield situation. That's pretty important. Like, what can you drop on? What armor can you pick up early? Because that's usually going to dictate if you're trying to take these early fights. Looks like EXO decent in the. We're not zooming in on these guys because it's a little bit of latency just on our side for the first minute or so as the game unfolds. But we're seeing EXO with a decent shield situation. It looks like they were trying to bait Sweet Assist and try to get a nice early wipe, but I'm not even seeing Sweet Assist. Okay, it looks like they're running off. Found a purple shield.
I was gonna say, do you need to bait them to get the early wipe on them?
They were trying, but at this point now they're just gonna pursue them. It looks like.
Yeah, they've been having a very rough go of it. I don't know. Will they finally get a break this game? If commentary from the chat though is something I'm going to go with, I will say a lot of people talking about the weight right now on Wolfpack Arctic's shoulders. They have definitely given up a huge margin for their lead to Direwolves. Even though both of them have been doing somewhat well, they did end up having an early drop-off, like you were saying, when they only got like 5 points in that last round. That's exactly the kind of mishap that can cause their lead to go tumbling down. So they really need to take this game seriously. This has to be a huge, huge win for Wolfpack Arctic if they want to think about putting this away. I still believe that unless that Direwolves also dies early, getting basically nothing, that a win here doesn't even do it for Wolfpack Arctic, because Direwolves will most likely be the team that they kill to win this game if they do. And coming up here, we got Sweetie Nia.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a good point. Does Wolfpack Arctic feel a little more pressure to find some kills early? And I don't feel like we've seen a change in playstyle from yesterday to today. They've just been playing methodically and playing well. So I would expect that to remain the same. Maybe they will look for third parties a little bit more, but it's not like they haven't been. Just for whatever reason, they haven't had.
INV is here on the Ja, so and you have to look for those. And I'm not even sure if you can just force it on third parties even at this position. You kind of have to just take any fight that you can. There are only so many more points left, and every time one of these teams kills a player of another or gets a team wipe, Wolfpack Arctic is like, okay, well, those are guys that we didn't get to kill. Athaimth, by the way, is the team that was eliminated first here. Sweet Assist only lost one of their players.
That's our Caustic team.
That's our Caustic team. Nitsuro-sama is dead. F's in the chat. Pour out your gas traps for Nitsuro-sama in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real tragedy. So Wolfpack Shadow actually taking a little bit of heat on the push-up here. They yeah, exactly. Getting into a scrap with K7 as we just saw. Yeah, there you go. Bleeds out. It pops Cha-Cha-Cha's face off with that EVA 8, and it almost feels unfair. There's 18 squads left after that fight, but yeah, that purple. When you've got that full that hop up on the EVA 8 for the shotgun bolt, excuse me, for that faster firing speed, the EVA 8 just becomes filthy. I've always loved the EVA 8. Such a fun shotgun to use and spam, and it's only been increasingly popular since the Peacekeeper shift to the call downs, or excuse me, to the supply boxes.
Pretty hectic situation here. Wolfpack Shadow cleaning up a team, cleaning up K7, but now they're having to fight again, as it usually goes in Apex Legends. So a fair amount of stress early on for some of these teams. There's a lot of action early. We've had some comments in the chat on the difference between these regions, and we're seeing just a ton of aggression from this region. And I kind of mentioned it earlier, especially when you're getting to the end of a tournament. You know, you're running out of time to make a meme, or you're running out of time to like make a highlight reel. You're running out of time to become famous on the broadcast, right? So there might be some more pressure from these teams to be aggressive, get those kills, get some camera time, please the sponsors, and of course, try to carve into that gap against our leader.
Yeah, I tell you what though, I foresee the highlight reels, right? When you think about it, you're like, what do you take away from this? You know, you got to make the compilation of every time that we've had to say a woo 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 or cha 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 cha. Although they are dead in this match, we are still finding ways to talk about them because, you know, we're here to please you, the viewer. As Noobles, he's getting into a scrap deep into the circle. Now it's not like round 4 circle, but well, there you go. Actually, okay, you know what? Never mind. It's too deep. Easy flashes down. Couldn't get the heal off in time. Silver Sky has full shields, but he needs, like, the syringe itself isn't going to buy you the most amount of time in this situation. Do you even have time to use the med kit? You're asking yourself. But these are exactly the kinds of fights where things kind of slip. They fall off a little bit early on, and then Wolfpack Shadow just ends up getting taken out, right? So we've got K7 eliminated, Invate eliminated, Athames eliminated, Invate who picked up 2 rounds to win in a row at the end of yesterday's day of matches. So they were a team that we were pretty high on, and they have they've tumbled.
I mean, what are we saying about Sweet Assist at this point? Shout out to Sweet Assist, not in the bottom 4. My goodness, killing it. Even though they are a man down. I am sad to report that Sweet Assist, they have lost 1 player, but they're still up. And honestly, it's a little bit surprising seeing the teams that have been knocked out. A lot of teams that I would have expected to play a little bit better, getting knocked out early. So maybe an opportunity for some other teams. EXO in particular. We're seeing EXO, if you look at them, they're kind of in a central location, already pretty far along, looking ahead towards where this ring is going. And also, they enjoy finding these pathways, these narrow pathways that occur on World's Edge, where teams have to go through. And right now, we're seeing a fight in the top left. EXO, you can see them kind of posturing, looking in that direction. They're listening. EXO might be looking for a moment to jump in and third party and get some kills. You got to get kills, Nathanius. You can't just mosey around and have some tea or coffee in one of these buildings. You have to find those kills at this point in the tournament. 4 matches to go, including this one. So we're running out of time. Again, if not to just get points in the tournament, to get that camera time, make some highlights. You're running out of time to do that.
Yeah, and there are still a couple of pretty interesting scenarios. EXO has kind of like this gatekeeper position on that next circle from Skyhook, but okay, so Kazan's just turned back towards the other side. I was going to say a Wolfpack Arctic was actually headed towards the south side there as Noir gets a wipe, taking out Witzy, taking out Bullet L, Ikasan, and a nice team wipe for them. We kind of swing in towards the end of it. PK Flame getting a kill on the other side with Healy on the kill feed in the middle of all of that as we get a look. Doom MVP and Bastion. Bastion for Noir has been a huge damage dealer. He's been really, really good with the engagement plays. We haven't seen I haven't been able to see quite as much from Doom MVP or Salvatore as Bastion's is kind of, he's Octane, right? He jumps in, he gets the damage done. He either dies or he gets a double, triple kill, right? There's really not a whole lot of in between when you're running in at full speed to try and get into these fights. So he sees the horizon. Boop's going to take it to follow behind. This is Salvatore as we finally get to see purple shotgun bolt on the EVA 8. So ready for the up close and personal engagement. Saw another one of those players drop down a little bit, didn't want to quite force it as Kazance hides between these two little towers. And Zeratas, these guys, still a lot of shields, not much health though. So you still want to get some time to try and restore that up. Zeratas actually did lose his shields for the most part. So he's in a kind of awkward situation. That ring is going to push Noir back into them. So they get a brief respite, but the engagement should be taking place once again very shortly. There, the bullets coming in, trying to hit with, looks like it might be triple take there on Salvatores. Takes out about 60% of the shields. And wait a second, that's not even Wolfpack shooting them. Is that Zabby?
Right. There's a lot of
down
teams.
the street. we got ourselves an Anchorman news team fight over here. 6 different squads in one arena. Is that what's going on over here?
It's getting crazy. 12 squads left and fair amount of open space. We also know EXO shouldn't be too far away. They're in that channel a little bit to the east of this. So again, we're at that point in the tournament where you've got to rack up those kills. So if you're ever hearing a fight, you are going for it all out. You're trying to get those third-party kills happening. Noir, I have trouble saying their name, but they're having a great game here. Seems like they've been under a lot of pressure, but we keep looking at them and their shields are fine. They're able to kind of get their feet under them, and we see 5 assists on the board here for Bastion, the SOC team player. So there's some nice stats being put up on the board here, and they're finding themselves in just a lot of fights. But somehow they're able to survive. But a lot of pressure on this team so far in this game.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one to say the least. Noir has been moving as slow as they can, actually looting outside the circle there. We take a look over at Najah. Unfortunately, Sweetie not able to get it done. Osu player Uwu trying to get the... Oh, I'm not sure if that was the bubble. He's throwing the ult outside to try and cover. Yeah, so he's trying to create space so that he can get the res off on the Octane. Get the team back up in that 1 versus 3 situation. Get your 2 teammates back up together. Horizon throws the ult to pull in towards the side of that wall, but that's not going to be enough to gather the team over there. And at the very least, they should have one more opportunity to try to make things work, as they were able to get the res off, which I think is the most important thing there. But Jub is going to push in through the door. Point man going in. These guys don't really have a whole lot of their shields and health reset. So there's the... on the inside we see getting dropped for the protection. Sun Series though coming around the side. So Bear Claw Gaming with the flank. They got 2 upstairs, 1 watching the downstairs drop off, and then across the street you've got Big Z and his gang hiding underneath another team.
Timing is so important here. Can you hit at the right time, and can you anticipate other teams that are trying to hit also? Because you don't want to get third-partied, but you also want to strike it to have the best advantage over, you know, because you're trying to be the one who's third-partying. So very narrow timings here, very tense situations with so many teams close to each other, these multi-level buildings. You'll have teams on the first floor, second floor, third floor sometimes, all trying to find an effective fight. For now, Naya here looking okay. That seemed pretty hectic, but again, their shields and health seem just fine. Looking for other teams around. 11 squads left in the game here, and a little bit of pressure to move. Obviously, the storm is closing, so this team's going to have to evacuate. They're going to have to pick a direction. But there's almost always going to be edge guarding happening at this point in the game, with not a big amount of real estate, and also not too many, or a fair amount of squads left. So we're going to see some more fights unfold here. Just look at that kill feed to the top right.
Press F in the chat for Fuse there. Almost got to see the Knuckle Duster. Has there wasn't too much love for the Fuse pick in the chat earlier. Unfortunately, wasn't really able to make the most of that utility. And that's just a little bit rough there, as it's been a tough match for those guys. So we've got Cleason and Savior hiding inside of this little van thing. There's not a tremendous amount of room. Bunny hop going in and out with the portal, keeping the opportunity to retreat available for the team, pulling in that downed Bloodhound. So you get a little bit of time if they're going to chase you. Unlikely to go straight through the portal. Can be a bit too risky to just make that move. And I like that he's just sitting there with the grenade. He's just waiting. He's like, okay, guys, if you guys are going to come to this portal, if you're going to be silly enough to do that, he just wanted to have it ready for the stick. Or excuse me, that might have just been the ultimate that he was prepping to throw back over the other way as well.
And it's interesting, he's watching the portal too, so you can actually see if anyone is making a move towards that portal to be ready for it. Of course, no one's going to go through that portal because they know there's a team on the other side of it. And now that it's empty, they're going to go on through it and make their way to a better position. But interesting to see this other team kind of running off, even though they were kind of watching over what was happening. But that goes to show how important this positioning is. Is that still EXO in this tunnel?
They've done a good job of holding it down. They've been in this tunnel the entire game. It's still really risky though, right? Because you're still setting yourself up to get pinched if teams push you from both sides, and then you have nowhere you can go.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to leave this tunnel eventually, and guess what? There's probably going to be someone waiting on the other side, so they're not worried about that yet. What they're worried about right now is just getting kills and trying to take out this team that's trying to get through here. But they certainly are aware that someone can come in behind them. So got to be careful here. EXO, pretty technically tricky situation here. They've got decent shields, purple shields, trying to hold this pathway. Unfortunately, they're not able to get the kills yet. This team is still charging through here. What EXO wants to do, they want to wipe this squad quickly because, as you said, there's always a danger that someone's going to come behind them. And here's PK.
And it comes in, gets the knock on Little Flame. So you're talking about this tunnel situation. It starts to turn into a hot mess. There's just not enough different angles that you can try to cover when you have only 2 positions that go in and out. So EXO does a really good job. You clean up Team PK. That allows them to focus on whoever's going to be waiting on the other side of this gap. Everybody has to get their shields up, though, because that circle continues to push them out of the tunnels. They need time to heal. They need time to get the shields back up. And then the Gibraltar ultimate comes down. And you know what? Goodbye goes Team EXO. They get completely wiped off of that pressure coming out between the circle.
That's
the
what
damage.
we talked about, right?
And yeah, that's just good heads-up play by We Are Trash because they're able to capitalize on that. Yes, you can stay in the tunnels and gatekeep. Sure, you get a couple kills that way. But at some point, you have to come out of your shell as the turtle, and then the alligator is there waiting to eat you and swallow you whole. Never a good time.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw that coming. So interesting to see EXO make that move. They were trying to use the portal to kind of run away, but it didn't end up working out. And now we're seeing some pressure on the Grape. Only 4 squads left here in match number 13. There's a team charging in there, taking them out. That is Wolfpack. Wolfpack Shadow coming in and taking care of business. And they're doing a great job. That was a great third party. Look at their shields doing just fine, getting some looting done. And that was kind of an edge guard. They're kind of going to the outside of the ring pretty far. So they're going to have to come back in and relocate. And now the question is, who is in the ring? Who is deep within this ring? And it looks like Noir is that team finding some high ground. We see this long-range R301. It's been pretty common in this region. And Noir here trying to just take advantage of this position. Watch for any teams coming in. Only 3 squads left. And look at this damage. This absolutely ridiculous damage being dealt out.
Well, especially with how few...
That will almost trigger a push. Ooh, there's a team sprinting in right below them.
I was going to say, especially with how few horizons there are, booping yourself up here is not as straightforward or easy as you may otherwise hope. So you're either going to try a YOLO Octane pad to go up, which isn't going to work, or you just have to play this current situation out, which is you've got to deal with the God spot for Team Noir. They're doing fantastic. This is a beautiful position to have. They can see across all angles. You don't have as much hard cover, but you know the floor is your cover. You just kind of step towards the center and crouch, and nobody can really see you because the high ground is not available anywhere else. So we head into the final circle for this round. There's 3 squads remaining. Noir holding the high ground as beautifully as you can, and especially since you've got Gibraltar, you're not really worried about being pushed off of this spot just by an ultimate. You know that that bubble will last long enough. Just keep shooting down, wait for the third-party opportunity, and go all in. The other 2 teams that are remaining are pretty far from each other, Wolfpack, Shadow, and we've got Cleason and Savior Heavier on the other side. So waiting for that third party might take some time. They might just have to wait until they get pushed off of this, this tower spot by the circle itself.
If there were a couple perfect arc stars, that could be awkward for this team that's up there. But for now, I mean, in these late game situations, grenades can be very hard to come by at times. So we don't even know how many grenades these guys have. If I were to guess, I would guess not that many. That's just how it is when you get to late game. That's why it's so important to hang on to those grenades and make sure you use them effectively. But clearly, the team on the high ground is going to have the advantage. But obviously, with 3 teams left, it's all going to come down to who's going to fight first. We've said it before, and who's going to be that third party. And right now, Noir with the high ground, they're just trying to hang on, bide time, and they're hoping these 2 teams fight that are underneath them. And once that happens, they're going to jump in and be the third party.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird position because both teams are on the opposite side of them, and there's not really much to be gained from coming down. You should wait for the circle to push you because
there's Arcstar.
It's just free peaks. You just get free peaks, right? You've got these shields that are waiting down, so even if you get 100 to 0, do you still have a chance, right? Go for the shield swap, keep it moving.
Bloodhound ultimate.
Plenty of ammo.
We hear the screaming.
I don't even think it's a bad situation to just try tapping off the anvil receiver just to conserve the ammo a little bit off the spray. I know the DPS, if you land all your shots, is going to be nice in auto mode, but it's a tricky situation. You're getting starved out a little bit. You don't want to waste too much ammo just shooting down and missing, though, because you know both of those teams on the ground are looking up. So there still is no easy way. So there it is. Actually, is that jump pad they're using to go up here? The rest of the team is over on the other side now. Gibraltar ult's going to come in on him. There's the bubble. Okay, taking the zip line out. Obviously, yes, that was always going to be an option.
Going way wide, leaving these other teams on the other side. So no commitments yet for a straight up fight. All the shields are gone for Noir, though. They're in a lot of trouble on the left-hand side. That's where the big fight's going to happen between Wolfpack Shadow, and they're going to be just fine, it looks like. Actually, a ton of damage being dealt across both these teams. Only one player left in Noir, somehow, some way, able to navigate that properly. They were on the top of the tower. They swung over to the other side of that ring, and that left the other two teams behind them to fight. That was very curious. I think that could have gone either way amongst the teams, because it looked like for a second there in the beginning of that that altercation at the end, Noir was seriously struggling after they made that first movement under the Gibraltar shield. It seems like they were in dire straits, but somehow, some way, able to get the victory there. And I think the important thing here is would be Wolfpack Arctic. We're going to see how they did, how their point standings are. Dire Wolves, they were not able to get in the top 3. So we'll see if any of these other teams have made a significant move to, try to make it to the top of our standings as we watch through the highlights of that game.
Yeah, and it's this engagement here, we were talking about it. It's just coming up on the stream as well with the delay. People are saying, look, you can get those kills, you can do the gatekeeping, but at some point you have to come out of that tunnel, and that was a huge flop there for EXO, because they get a couple frags but miss out on the chance of the late game. And Noir played this situation as well as they possibly could have. They held the God spot for as long as possible, came down, made the other two teams fight in the edge of the circle, and then all they had to do was get out their Swiffers and just dust up, because that was it. That's how little there was left for them to clean up as far as that mess is concerned. Guys, we're going to go to a break. When we return, we'll have the updated scores for you, and we'll move into our next round. Don't go anywhere. We're close to crowning a champion for APAC South. Hi guys, welcome back. We are live once again here for the GLL Spring Masters APAC South, bringing you some Apex Legends gameplay to start your weekend off the right way. I'm Nathanius, joined by Axel Toss, and if you were wondering, if you were like, we're so sad we're getting close to the end of APAC South, you're gonna have nothing else to do with your weekend, that's not exactly the case, is it, Axel Toss?
No, there's a ton of Apex Legends happening. Almost too much Apex Legends. Actually, it's only too much Apex Legends if you're trying to play Apex Legends this weekend, because there's pretty much always time to watch. And I was thinking about it earlier. There might be people out there who tune into every single broadcast on twitch.tv/GLL Apex across every region. There might be some people out there in the chat right now who tune into every stream and also are able to fit in some Apex Legends games. Because how can you watch that much Apex and not want to play, right? So I'm sure, Nathanius, there's some people out there who are watching all of these games and who are also finding time to play, and I respect those people.
Yeah, big ups here in match 13 for Team Noir, as they were able to pick up 24 points, 12 placement, 12 kills. Not sure how much that's going to move them up the rungs. But yeah, like you were saying, we have so much more Apex coming, right? There's going to be EU finals after this, then the NA finals. Then tomorrow we have EU versus NA. So you can come bring all of your smooth brain jokes about how much you don't like people who aren't from the same place as you. And we can watch some good gameplay, hopefully, which should be exciting as the total standings come up. And Wolfpack Arctic sits on top still, 154 points. Dire Wolves was not able to make up much ground in that game, so still behind about 20-30-ish. There are going to be a few more games left, however, so it's not all over. We've got, I think, 3 more rounds for them to try and catch up, and then We Are Trash is not far enough ahead to be safe from Wolfpack Shadow or Grape. Even K7 and Inside the Ring are not too impossibly far away to try and catch up for third, but they will need to make some aggressive drops. Maybe even try to think about where the other teams have been dropping in their scrims. Try to do some sort of targeted aggressive drops. I don't really know, but I think taking it slow is a fast track to failure for any of these teams trying to claw their way in at the last minute.
Well, we saw last game EXO, maybe the past couple games, EXO has been like almost baiting Sweet Assist weirdly. We'll see if something similar happens.
They're trying to farm them.
Yeah, dude. Like, we'll see if something similar happens this game, because like literally the first shot we had of the game last game was a member of EXO going and shooting at a member of Sweet Assist, and then kind of bringing him back to the EXO squad. But yeah, I mean, hey, anything goes here. Look, if you're a coach for one of these teams, or you are one of these players on these teams, and you're thinking strategically, if you need kills, there is a specific strategy to get that, right? You listen for third parties. You're active in your movement. Maybe you go with Octane. Maybe you have someone go scout and see where a team is. Maybe you spread out a little bit more so you can hear more and you can hear where a fight might be. There are more aggressive things you can do if you need a lot of kills. And we're at that stage right now. We're at match 14 out of 16. I remember when it was match 1 or match 2, I was saying, oh, anything can happen, guys.
Grow
well,
up so fast.
Guess what? It's not happening now. Now you're running out of time. You're out of time. This is it. If there is a chance for one of these teams to make it into first place over Wolfpack Arctic, this is the last chance. This
if you're
is the
a team
game.
in the bottom 10 rankings, I think you just YOLO drop, right? You might as well look at this. Look at this drop that we've got south of Fragment West on that building that we were talking about earlier. There's a very popular drop spot. I think this has to be one of the biggest ones. You've got the respawn beacon. You've got 3 stories of loot. You're pretty much guaranteed to find a couple of good things in this spot, and it also has a few zip lines that reach out towards the west end of Fragment, so you can also get away if you need to. And that's my quick analysis on that one. I do like that structure quite a bit. I've landed and died there many times myself, Axeltoss.
I'll have to try out that spot. Sounds like a nice spot. Also, it's
here we go.
Relatively centrally located, so it's pretty safe as far as the ring is concerned. Yep, we were just talking about it.
Is it gonna happen again?
Oh no, Sweet Assist! They're like, let's go.
Sweet Assist, run! It's not worth it. These guys need to just like find a secret way to escape the map and go live free on the plains, grazing in the fields. That might be the move here. This been a very, very rough set of lobbies for them this weekend.
Change their name to Sweet Kill instead of Sweet Assist. Get the kills instead of the assists, something like that.
I think we're looking at the wrong letters from KDA if that's what we're going for with. No, okay. Well, I'm being too savage now. I'll pump the brakes a little bit on that. Team Exo, however, will not. They would like to pick up 3 kills here. They would like to farm a little Sweet Assist if they can. Guys have had at least a couple of okay rounds. There was at least one I remember where we got to see them go relatively deep because the circle did end up finishing over on this top side, but they're not really in much of a position, I think, to push into.
So, I mean, this is fun because this is like what we're going to see in Arena not too far along from now, right? These 1v1 situations between teams, and the purple shield from Jaro has to be the biggest advantage here for EXO. Only level 1 shields for one of our players on Sweet Assist, so EXO should be feeling confident with this. They will have known that by now. They will know they have the armor advantage because they're taking shots and they're seeing what color it is on the other team. So I feel like EXO should feel good to push this. Oh, actually, we're seeing a purple shield from Moonlight here, so he's able to get enough damage to bump up that blue to a purple. So that could change this a little bit. It goes to show just how important that dishing that damage is. Upgrading those shields. It's not that hard to upgrade your shields. I think it's it scales less as you go along. So
I remember
it's not that hard to get these earlier shield upgrades. So stalemate at this point, it seems.
Those were dark days before the Evo shield. I think that was
agree.
One of the best changes they ever made in this game.
I agree 100%. One of my favorite changes for sure.
Yeah, the dynamic of the damage trade-off and incentivizing actually fighting the other teams. Always good. Always good.
This
prone.
Is great.
No,
Look how
no
scrappy
prone,
this is. Everyone's out of shield cells. You can tell because obviously the shields are so low. No one's able to regen. Sweet.
But there's a little bit more
they're pushing.
I think, available to Exo, right? They've got a little bit more to work with over here in terms of the area.
Yeah, but they're trapping themselves in right now. Or are they? Oh.
They managed
That's
to
it.
pick off. They managed to pick off save by SA, so they get save B. He's down
They
here.
knocked another. Yeah, EXO should have it here. Only one man up from Sweet Assist. What a nice battle, though. On both sides.
Yeah, this was a tough fight to always try to take. I mean, even with the setup that we were discussing earlier, it's still a little bit of an incline that you have to go up. You're still somewhat limited in terms of your engagement angles and your cover. And player K comes down from Team Exo on that Bloodhound. They get the wipe. Moonlight's dead. Complex dead. And they are actually not the first squad to be eliminated. I think we saw on the other side there was one more team wipe that happened just barely before this one. So Sweet Assist doesn't go out immediately. And Team Exo definitely makes an incredibly slow rotation after that very long, drawn-out fight. But at the end of the day, what you said still rings true. They're able to get that farm, right? They're able to get a couple of kills off of them, and it seems a little bit demeaning, but the reality is it works. It works for a reason.
Those shots.
150 from Zeratas.
I can't believe it. Like hitting every single shot. And by the way, we just saw that overhead cam. Look at this. Look at what is going on over here. We have like 4 teams fighting over this one little area of the map, this tunnel. And that was Wolfpack Arctic hitting every single shot, and now they're looking to be the 5th party here.
Lots of opportunities. Wolfpack Arctic would like to get some points on the board. They still had about, what, a 25-point difference between themselves and second place, which is nothing to scoff at. But we have seen Direwolves able to pick up 20-plus points per game on about half of the games that we've had today. So they've made a tremendous amount of progress. They've really closed that gap. They're within striking distance. It kind of reminds me of when we were getting into a somewhat similar position to how close APAC North was a few weeks ago. And then T1 had that one game where they got wiped very early. And all of a sudden, everybody was within 2 points of each other after they had a huge lead early on. And they had to win it in the final round. They had to actually take it. That was exactly where it was decided, because it was still too close. Even then, I think the second place team behind them picked up like 25 points in that final round as well. They barely ended up winning, but it was a hell of a show, is all I'm going to say. ATH coming out of Harvester towards Sorting Factory. That's the team with Nitsuro Sama. They're rocking that Caustic, giving them the space control, that ultimate to disrupt vision, but also help with the engage or disengage, whichever you
by the
really
way, there's a team off the map in the north. If anyone has really good eyesight, you could way in the that's
Team Exo. They know they wanted to kill Sweet Assist, but I feel like there's a bit of a story between this round and the last round with Exo. Something about getting 3 kills and then giving up your position. I'm not sure. I'm sure someone in chat could jog my memory on that one.
They'll be making their way downtown in a short matter of time. Obviously, not taking too much damage at this point. But for EXO, the pressure they should be feeling is to just rack up kills. I mean, it's probably too late for them to obviously win, but they would love to still get top 3, top 5 in the overall standings. Get some nice cash in the bank. So EXO, we'll see them running in and trying to join one of these fights here. As we see the Direwolves, they've been having a great day and honestly a really good weekend. They are in contention. They would love to get some kills here. And it looks like they're doing okay so far. Still 2 men up. And you're always worried about a third party right now? You see the ultimate getting ready?
Yeah, you want to get ready, give a little bit of that cover on the backside while you're getting the res up and getting the loot off of the enemy death boxes in this situation. And over here, get a look at Athame TH, like we were talking about earlier. Nitsuro Sama, we got Oato, Jack Cute on the Wraith. Jack Cute has been the survivor of the team. We get to see, I believe that was Wolfpack Arctic actually just getting a wipe themselves, while Savior Heavier is taken down by Team ATH. So we've seen a couple of shenanigans come out of them. Wolfpack Arctic actually bringing in the crypto. So they're going for Gibraltar Crypto Horizon. A bit of a different composition than we've seen out of them so far in this tournament. Mixing it up, I'm guessing they want to have more vision or information available to them so that they can just try to force themselves. At this point, they can play for placement over kills, but naturally we expect them to pick up kills because
doing
that's how they got
Bloodhound Gibraltar Wraith. Isn't that what they were doing? Horizon, obviously the dynamic movement capabilities there. We kind of been seeing a lot of moments where that elevation and that movement becomes really important, either from an Octane jump pad or from a Horizon, the Horizon's queue there. So also interesting with crypto, we're seeing the drone being used right now, and just information. So maybe this is an element of playing it safe and just playing for more utility at this point, knowing how good of a situation they're in. Like, if you think about it here with the drone, I mean, how beautiful is this? You can just see where these teams are. And if you're a team that's trying to go for third party, trying to get some kills, trying to play it safe, this information is so valuable.
Yeah, and I think that's got to be the main reason why you see them go with the crypto play, because you're giving up a little bit, but you still have the EMP ult, right? For some of the engages on buildings you can try to use. A little bit more difficult for them to get around that. Yeah, Twizzy Observer Pog. That's right. If you guys, you know, we've heard some of the people in the chat asking strange questions. Twizzy is now our observer, so shout out to him. You can direct your comments and all of your wonderful compliments towards him as a based crypto god. These guys have the tunnel locked down though, and that next circle is going to be closing in on this. So having that confined space will be great. But I would be amiss not to call back to what happened to Team Exo, who thought they were in the clear, hiding in a tunnel earlier, as they're actually taking some hits over on this north end of the ring.
Well, the crypto again is helpful. So you have that drone, you can know if you're going to get sandwiched, and you can really stay ahead of that. But yeah, EXO over here, they're kind of running in from a long way off, and they ran straight into two teams. So you have to make a decision. First of all, you don't want to get sandwiched, but the decision you want to make is which team do you hit. Generally, you want to hit one of the teams really quickly, and then carry on with your day to get those kills and to clear the area. I guess in theory you can run away from both of them, so we'll have to see what EXO decides to do. Of course, they're under pressure. They want some kills. They need some points to try to get into the money. Right now we're looking at Team PK over here. That's a Mastiff. There's a lot of damage being dealt in that storm, though, so you got to be careful about that. And these guys are going to be at the mercy of it as a firefight unfolding.
Yeah, Takei-san really tried to get up in their face with that Gibraltar, and unfortunately wasn't really able to get too much going at the early phase of this. There's that third party, Sweetie Naya coming in, gets the focus off, and that's just painful.
I think you pushed that. He doesn't know, but he should push that.
Takei-san
he should jump on that.
Out. You should see it with his scan. Is he scared to step out of the ring? Is that it? Just trying to gatekeep a little bit too hard. Arcstar comes back his way.
Looks like another team.
Oh, Emiliazi is right on top. Inside the ring is here. They are here. They're here to third party both of these damaged squads. I think it's just two players left from Takei-san's team. So there's two players from PK and just one on the other side. So inside the ring, we do get Keck W knocked early. Emiliazi and Zabby both still standing strong. Is going to throw that Horizon boop up a little bit. Goes back towards the outside on the other side of that Wraith, running in, chasing with the flat line down to just 3 bullets. Has to swap over towards the R99. Does have gold mag. There's plenty of bullets to use on this, but still unable to get that knock. Okay, I really did think the chase was going to pay off for Emiliazi, but unfortunately, nothing really comes up for them. And you're still playing at the edge of the circle with at least 2 other teams staring down right at you.
Yeah, there's quite a few teams in the area. And remember, there's that team that was in the storm that I believe is recovered by now. A very important res. Other teams that are close can definitely hear that, so you got to be careful. Looks like no one's deciding to push. It seems like all the teams in this area are kind of tattered. There's not really a team that's able to kind of wipe the rest. In fact, we might have some people just ran. It looks like some people just ran off. Oh,
yeah, there's just a bunch of teams that have all gotten caught up here, and a couple of them splintered apart, right? As you were saying, like PK losing a couple of players. Takei-san coming up over here with Little Flame. They're just barely running inside. Bubble at the door. And it looks, yeah, Zabby and Keck W are chasing in, but they're about to run into the rest of PKs. They did get the res on their teammate, it looks like. Zabby's going to come strolling right down, slides in with the Spitfire, immediately going for the res after the initial push, getting Keck W back up on his feet before that ring approaches. He's going to take a little bit of damage, but not too much. Yeah, and this whole situation is absolutely crazy. Witsy taking out Jubba Jub and Sun Series. I think that's Bear Claw Gaming eliminated on the tail end of this.
That looked like that was really strange. Whatever just happened there was like PK. They were fully looted up. They were a full squad coming in from somewhere else, but they looked lost. PK looked lost there. They ran right into this team inside the ring. Inside the ring, only had 2 up, I think. They're in tatters, but inside the ring, still able to wipe PK. Very strange. Unfortunate for PK there. I think they just got caught completely off guard, completely by surprise, is my best explanation. But anyway, EXO over here, the Wraith Bolter Bloodhound combo, they're fully shielded up. They're doing just fine. Raki would love to have some purple shields. Again, I'm a little surprised to see him only have blue shields, especially after, I mean, we've seen some fights from EXO already from this game, so it seems like they should have the damage to have better shields. But anyway, they have everyone up, 10 squads left. What a time for EXO to try to win a game here.
Yeah, I need to get a little bit more work done. We're seeing, again, off this crypto, the drone coming out, trying to gather a little bit more information for the squad, getting EMP ready as another team is going to be pushing in on top of them. We get a look at Kazance on the flat line with that gold mag, lets it rip through, but there's the Horizon ult pulling everybody back over towards the corner pocket, but there's still that Gibraltar shield right on the side, so not quite perfect, but that, oh yeah. Oh, the Black Hole was still pulling everybody in that position, and that was just fantastic. Fantastic grab there on the side. Exo still on the outside of the other end of that tunnel, so the team on the inside potentially getting pinched again. This wouldn't be the first time that we've seen it come to bust for the defenders on the inside.
I know. It's such a narrow... I mean, we're seeing a clinic of it from Wolfpack Arctic. They're showing how to do it. How do you control a tunnel? If your teammates tell you, hey, let's try to control this area, as Nathaniel said, you're not going to be wanting to do that because there's a chance you'll get sandwiched. You're putting yourself in an area where there's only 2 escapes, so there's not a lot of ways out. So how do you manage this? Well, you have to apply pressure at each front. You can't be sandwiched at once. You have to take the fight to each team at each end of this tunnel. I feel like that's what we're seeing here. If they tried to fight both at once, it's impossible. You have to pick one side, focus on that, and be hyper aggressive and take them out as soon as possible, and then turn around and go the other way. I mean, the good thing is there's no surprises because there's only a limited amount of ways people can come into this area, but that's also the hard part because there's limited ways to run. So you just have to focus on each entrance, right? I feel like that's what Wolfpack Arctic was doing there, and with decent success. Dude, they've been there the past like 5 minutes or so. I'm curious about their kills, but I mean, they're winning this tournament for a reason.
I like that Nitsuru-sama puts a trap on the edge of that, by the way, in case somebody comes out. Whether or not the trap does anything is inconsequential, but if and or when it gets destroyed, that's a little bit of a tip that you know somebody is somewhat close enough that they felt like they needed to destroy it. So it's just another little tiny case of information is power, right? It's nice to know things. It's nice to have that vision. The circle is completely closed in, however, so no longer going to be thinking about that too much. This is about why you go for that caustic pick, though. When you play these late game circles and the space becomes more confined, you can limit the movement options of your opponents a little bit more.
Ooh.
And maybe we'll see that ultimate come out. But Athame to get knocked. Nitsuru-sama is finished very quickly. Dato gets thirsted as well. So once again, it's just Jack Cute from Team ATH and gonna try to play it incredibly slowly, see if you can get the res, but not something that seems very likely this late in the game. So turns into a little bit more of a turtle fest. Gets good vision on him on top of that rock. Really good aim by Jaro. Team Exo getting everything done that they can, but that level 5 Evo was able to soak a lot of damage.
Player K down. That was really hilarious. It's like, I have my rock, you have your rock. Let's fight. Wolfpack Arctic, though, that's Zeratas with the not only the red shields, but he's got the Mastiff too, dealing the damage. EXO getting wiped there, and Wolfpack Arctic, are they just doing it? Are they like, you know what? We're done playing games. This is our tournament. Just great movement, great plays, getting a few kills there, and I think they're all still up. Shields are in a good situation. Wolfpack Arctic, they're setting themselves up in a big way here in match 14.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we were talking about. For them, it's just about finishing strong. They don't have to do anything Herculean anymore to be able to win this tournament. These guys, however, dire wolves that have been right on their tail,
Cool.
kill here. If they were able to get into a fight with Wolfpack and take them down, that could be amazing for them. And yeah, these lava pools by the finishing circles have been brutal today. There's been a lot of it. There's been a lot of the lava to deal with, closing in on buildings that are just kind of barely suspended over these. And the floor is lava. Couldn't be more literally. Lalaberg does get knocked. Dire wolves pushing on the inside of this structure. They get the finish on Lalavang, and there's only 2 more for them to try and punch through in this spot. Reconnaissance down. Jack Cute gets picked, and Sajin walking in with Invade Esports to clean them up. So some third-party action. Yes, you got Lalavang, but we got revenge. And the cleanup on Direwolves is massive because they were really looking for a win here.
Only 2 for Invade, and I think Wolfpack Arctic, I believe they're still in the lobby. It means they're in the top 3. Invade, only 2 up. There's Wolfpack Arctic, all 3 up. There's one other team somewhere. It could just be a solo, could be a duo. We'll keep an eye on that. Wolfpack Arctic, though, they're doing what they need to do. They want to be invited to this show match that I'm hearing about that's happening between North America and Europe tomorrow. Wolfpack Arctic making their case for being the best in their region. They're already winning in the Apex South region with 2 matches to go, including this one, and they're on the verge of victory. They have the advantage here. Let's see if they can close it out.
Yeah, a couple fights over at that building. I think that was the EMP that might have been going off from that crypto we were talking about earlier. Not sure what exactly their play is going to be for the end game. I think that they've kind of already gotten as far as they need to with Direwolves being taken off the board. But getting those first place points could be what really cements it, as we're on 14 of 16. It's only 2 more matches left after this. There may not be enough points for Direwolves if the big if, Wolfpack Arctic is able to take this round. So playing very carefully around the side. That crypto that we were talking about for the vision. And of course, you've got Horizon and Gibraltar here for your mobility and your shielding. So here is the drone coming up over, just trying to get quick eyes on the enemy. Don't think that they've been able to 100% spot him, though, as they get scanned by the Bloodhound.
Invade, again, with only 2 players, with only 2 members of their team up. So awkward for them. A lot of Wolfpacks in the final 8 players here. Kind of see it pretty much everywhere.
Both Wolfpack teams, they're too good.
And look at this look at the scenery. I mean, come on. Could you ask for a better spot than like the middle of a volcano?
No, you're right. It's very cinematic. It's very cinematic. It's not fun to have to walk.
You get like a Star Wars vibe, right? Maybe a little bit. You kind of feel some vibes in this area.
Maybe just a little bit. Just a smidge. Oh, you I mean the high ground vibes?
Yeah.
The arms, the legs. Yeah. Good times.
The arms, the legs.
Good times. All I need now is Caustic laying on the ground screaming, I hate you. Wolfpack Shadow ends up cleaning up on the tail end of that, so they're able to get a dub. A Wolfpack team won. It wasn't Arctic, but that's okay because that still sets up Wolfpack Arctic for a huge point lead in that game. But yes, no, I couldn't agree with you more, Axeltos. Very, very cinematic finish, to say the least, for that round.
Pretty crazy ending, though. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone just crashed each other, and Wolfpack Arctic would have loved to have won that. So kudos to Wolfpack Shadow for coming through at the end there. But yeah, that was fun. Liked where the ring ended up going. We had a nice skirmish in the beginning. We saw EXO take out Sweet Assist, and then another interesting game. I see Naya here trying to stay alive inside the ring, having a decent game. They ended up doing okay. Wolfpack Arctic, though, the story was them in this tunnel, dude. They were in that tunnel for what, like 5 minutes, maybe? Like they were in there a long time, holding it down, but putting on a clinic, getting into the top 3. And this is Wolfpack Arctic's tournament to lose. Absolutely. They have a huge advantage. Wolfpack Shadow, the race player at the end there, taking it down. But Wolfpack Arctic still getting top 3 there. Absolutely huge. And honestly, Wolfpack Shadow, we've seen them show up quite a bit in previous matches in this tournament. So it's pretty cool to see them coming up with another dub.
Yeah, no, it was really well done. And we're going to do a quick tally of the score, guys. We've only got a couple of rounds left today for APAC South. And then don't worry, we'll get to the European and North American matches. I understand there's a little too much fighting for some of you guys, and we'll slow things down. We'll be right back after this break. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Apex Legends GLL Spring Masters. I'm Nathanius, joined by Axel Toss. We're having a lovely conversation about video games as we were coming back. So if you heard any of that, I do love video games. It's true. You've learned my dark secret. Axel Toss, you've only got a couple of games left today as we find out who's going to win APAC South. It's been a nail biter, and you know, one of the best parts about commentating this region is that everybody is so aggressive, you just don't really ever know what the hell is going on. So it keeps things fun, it keeps things fresh. And look at that, 2 wolf packs leading the rest of the wolves.
Yeah, almost 3, right? Wolves in our top 3, Wolfpack Shadow, Wolfpack Arctic. But yeah, the story, Wolfpack Arctic, doing exactly what they have to do. 8 kills, 9 placement points. 8 plus 9 is 17 points acquired. And that's going to mean we're going to need to see a lot of work from these other teams. So we're going to see how all the math works out. 171 points for Wolfpack Arctic. 2 matches to go. Any math majors in the chat, you can start running the scenarios for us. Dire Wolves, 143 points. Wolfpack Shadow, 123 points. Technically, a few other teams are still in it. Technically. Maybe even just a couple teams. If Wolfpack Arctic gets last place, for example, and Dire Wolves gets first, right? And Wolfpack Shadow maybe gets first with a lot of kills. So there are possibilities, but Wolfpack Arctic, they're giving themselves all the mathematical advantages right now. Shout out to EXO, kind of pulling themselves up the leaderboard a little bit. Grape doing just fine, but I love how close it is. You know, beyond the top 3, beyond the top 2, honestly, beyond Wolfpack Arctic, it's still pretty close across the board.
Yeah, that 2nd and 3rd place still completely wide open, I think, in this situation. Wolfpack Shadow, if they get another game or 2 like that, they could definitely catch up with Dire Wolves. But as you said, unless Wolfpack Arctic completely beef it, you know, I'm talking they're trying to do like, I don't know. They're going to try to grind a rail on their skateboard, but instead they flip over, snap the skateboard in half, and break both of their arms. Like, I don't see a way that they lose. And by lose, I mean not come in first place, because they have played that dominantly in this tournament, maintaining a 30-point lead with 2 rounds to go. Getting 15 points per game for Dire Wolves is not impossible, but they need more like 20 points per game. As we said, unless Wolfpack Arctic basically go AFK, I don't really see a way that they're not at least picking up a few frags to close this tournament out and lock themselves in. But I think it'll be a bit more clear as to whether or not that's the case after this round. So we're match 15 of 16. We played 8 games yesterday. We are doing 8 today, and this is the first of the final 2 to decide who is going to take first place overall. If you're familiar with the Apex Legends Global Series, you may be asking yourself, oh, is somebody at a threshold for match point? That's not how it works here. It is just quite simply whoever has the most total points. So it goes 12 in first place, scaling down for placement, and 1 point for kills. So that's why we've been talking about these kills. That's why some of these teams have been more aggressive. There are only so many ways that you're going to be able to get those placement points this late in the tournament. You have to force fights.
Yep. And honestly, if you are in the top 3, top 4, you know, maybe this is that moment where you actively look for these fights and you are as aggressive as humanly possible, because why not? There's only 2 matches left. I mean, I'm seeing all these wonderful people in the chat, and I'll be honest, I'm going to miss them. I'm going to miss you guys. I'm having a great time. But the problem is we only have 2 matches left. So we're coming to an end here. And, you know, now is the time for any team to make a charge and really try to make this, you know, put the game into their hands, right? And rack up a ton of kills. So yeah, look out for that aggressive play. And our observer noting sweet assist versus EXO. Best of whatever.
EXO's like, sweet assist is in Northeast. Go, 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 go. Get him. Get him. Get the 3 kills. Start the round off strong.
And honestly, their EXO has been doing better, as I kind of noted. They're in, like, I think sixth place now. They were in 10th place yesterday. So going up the ladder a little bit, going up the rankings, and they would love to get into the top 3. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see EXO be pretty aggressive.
Yeah, definitely. They're the only way that they're going to make money here, that they're going to move up into the money is with aggressive plays. They're going to need to get some kills. It's not like if everybody else beefed it, they wouldn't have some sort of opportunity to climb back in. But that's what we've been talking about is everybody's just been really competitive. Little zoom in over there on K7 Esports, so woo woo woo, cha cha cha. Those guys doing fantastic. We've got ATH in the Northwest. Does he cha cha cha? I mean, you know, it's really not my place as a commentator to say whether or not somebody, you know, what kind of dance moves they like to go for. I think that's a bit personal. Everybody's dance style is very specific to themselves, but I have thought about it. And Octane slides around. Octane slides around pretty fast, so I can't. Yeah, well, they've decided they also want SA. They've painted a target on themselves by virtue of how this whole tournament
that's
played
some loot. I'll take that. Level 3, was that level 4 backpack? Level 3 backpack at least, and level 3 armor.
They're getting that high tier trials loot, man. They want that cash money, cash money, cash. I don't think they were too far away either from ATH. I know Nitsura-sama and all of them were up by the lava fissure in the northwest. So we'll see. We'll see if anybody runs into each other. But these guys need to be careful.
Yeah, I think we might see.
There's only so much they can. I was gonna say there's only just so much more opportunities. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say that we saw K7 Esports go towards Sweet Assists in the north. We might see developments on that. I'm a little like curious though that curious why EXO kind of just ran out of there. So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen with EXO and what they're going to decide to do, especially if a fight breaks out between the people behind them. But no, EXO is just running. They're in Skyhook, and they are pursuing Sweet Assists. Okay, and the Sweet Assists have a man down. Looks like they're trying to take a balloon and get out. That's not going to work. Oh no!
Trying to get away, unfortunately, has not been an optimal strategy.
Remember, K7 Esports is not too far away from this area here. So they might get involved in this fight.
Yeah, EXO, I think they've moved down a little bit, but they were able to grab Moonlight Tears there. But I was gonna say I thought K7 was a little bit north of them. I do wonder if they'll come down.
Yeah, they're not too far.
To inside the ring, just Zabby, both of his teammates down in this tunnel, comes over. Of course, the Gibraltar Shield gives a little bit of that sustainability with the attack, but it's not enough. Gets lasered. That 1v3, a bit of an untenable situation for the team. And the third party comes in as well. Dynasty ESC from behind. Beast of the Hunt coming to an end on Bloodhound. See that FOV slide back to normal. We've got King on the back of the pickup truck. In these tunnels, the situations, you're always like, yes, there are only a couple different ways that these guys can approach me. But as we saw earlier with, I believe it was Team EXO, when they got pinched earlier a couple rounds back, you don't want to spend too much time in there. You don't want someone to set up a trap on the outside waiting for you to come and try to leave that place. Otherwise, it just gets progressively more difficult as XFAM steps back, does not want to run into these guys, and they've got that octane pad on the stairs.
This could get interesting.
Yeah, I think that would just launch you into the ceiling based on how that looks, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll see what happens with that. There were a few teams in the area too, so always got to be aware of those third parties happening. We see Wolfpack Arctic kind of being casual on the left-hand side. I say casual. It's so weird to say. I mean it in the sense of, you know, just kind of leisurely meandering on the left side of the map, not near any teams. So we'll have to see if Wolfpack Arctic gets a little bit more involved. So remember, they are winning in our standings. So we'll have to see what happens there. Tear Gas Warrior here, though. We've got the Mozambique. Got the hop up on it.
The legendary Mozambique on Kit Meanie. Unfortunately, it did not help turn the tides. Jack, Cute, Nitsura-sama, and Datto clean them up. That is our team with the Caustic player, the only Caustic that we have seen. Haven't had much of an update on the Revenant. That was on one of the other teams we were taking a look at earlier. Not quite the strongest pick that it ended up being. I like the idea of the Revenant for taking the engagement without risking getting picked early and losing the possibility of placement points, but it's one of those things that sounds a whole lot better, you know, when you like kind of write it down and you conceptualize it. You're like, yes, I see how this strategy can be useful, but the execution for it was just did not really appear to be anywhere near where it needed to be. Look at this movement out of whoa on the Pathfinder, coming up with the flatline R99 combo, getting right up in his face. And I love this. I love what I'm seeing. He definitely needs to get that R99 reloaded though, because he only has about 7 or so extra rounds for the flatline. If he's forced to reload one more time, comes back on the backside, gets 100 damage into the back of Gibraltar. The other 2 players still waiting on just the other side of this door. R99 reloads, comes back again. They're gonna clean these players up as well. And goodbye goes Team SA. Uno más.
It's another team.
You've got Complexes hiding by himself, waiting for the opportunity to get the banners of those teammates. This is a potentially a huge opportunity, not just for them, but you know, if these guys get revived, I'm sure everybody's going to want to go to whichever revive beacon they use to come back, as they will not really have a whole lot to work with. And they have definitely been a team that's gotten picked on quite a bit in today's matches. But really set this one up nicely. Slash to get Roy's banner. But between him and Cha-Cha-Cha-Cha-Cha, they have a tremendous amount of mobility trading out for that Pathfinder and still keeping Octane and Horizon. So it's just team mobility.
Maybe the most amount of mobility possible, almost. Yeah. I didn't even realize the Pathfinder was chosen. I don't know if this is a meme choice, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've seen Pathfinder across both of the regions that we've covered in competitive play. Not sure if it was an accident, but anyway, I love to see it.
We haven't seen it in. We haven't seen Pathfinder in APAC South yet this weekend. I don't believe we've had a chance to see it. But oh no! Well, that was a cha-cha, not very smooth.
Right.
When I've got no words for that. When you throw the jump pad down and you boop yourself into the ceiling and get shot, take a walk after the games today. You might need it after that one. That's a little bit upsetting. The Hammer Point P20 coming in hard and fast with that blue mag. 16 rounds is plenty enough to get the damage done. You need to land those shots though, Little Flame. Need to land, and he's down off the shield. We got Bloodhound throwing fisticuffs. That's not going to be enough to stop him, but the next man in will be. Jeez. And that's a fantastic wipe. Dynasty, ESC. You know, when it comes to third partying and late game situations for this, sweet assist, they got the revive. Yes. They did it.
And everyone's like, wait, what? Who did that? How did that happen?
You know, this is like when all the side characters in the hero movies are like, oh yeah, guys, we contributed, we did a good job here. And then someone's gonna, then Thanos just shows up and one shots all of them. That's kind of the fear with SA. You know, those guys have played a fantastic tournament in terms of spirit, but they have, they're going to definitely need to reevaluate some things coming into the next APAC South regional, because those guys definitely got disrespected a lot more than I think they were prepared for. As we switch over to Bear Claw Gaming, we've got Sun Series with no shield stepping up with the Volt. Not enough to get the job done. Rudine tries to come in and save the day, but he gets clean. Direwolves runs in. They're looking for a third party. They want to know who it was getting on top of this team. They'd love to clean them up and grab a few more frags for themselves.
Yeah, if Direwolves can have an all-kill game where they're just killing everyone and racking up all the points, they are within reach of potentially winning this thing if things go badly for Wolfpack Arctic. So cool to see them still involved here, and it's hilarious. We keep seeing these very popular fight spots. It's like the same spots end up being really popular for a lot of eliminations happening. Speaking of that, K7 Esports knocked out. EXO was knocked out also. Kind of couple notable teams near the top of our standings that are not in contention in our match 15 out of 16. Remember, only one match left in this region after this one. Oh, he's gone. So that was the sweetest player, unfortunately. And the fact of the matter is, which is why we're kind of joking about it, I mean, trying to make a res happen, very unlikely to work or be too effective. I mean, kudos for pulling it off, but I'm curious to see where Sweet Assist even is at this point. Are they just wiped? Oh, okay, there, one left. So yeah, I mean, like, they did the res, but at the end of the day, they still only got one guy. So
yeah, I was just trying to very lightly allude. I was lightly allude to that, but yeah, as saved by, he's going to take a wide rotation.
Wait, no, is he going to the?
I don't know if he's going to the res. You crazy.
No, there's no way.
No way.
He doesn't have.
He doesn't have the banners. He doesn't have the banners, so he couldn't do it anyway. He just kind of took a wide way around because he wanted to try and loot this area. He has the passive health regen too. So
I want to see what their best. I'm gonna look at this our data really quick to see what their best standing has been. Okay, Sweet Assist, we love you. We really do, and we hope you return, and we hope you have a very bright future. But let me read out their placements in this tournament so far: 19th, 9th, 20th, 7th, 20th, 20th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 20th, 17th, 20th, 14th, 19th. To be clear, they're 20 teams, so 20th is last. But the best they've done is 7th, so let's see if they can beat that. Let's go, Sweet Assist.
Let's go, Sweet Assist. You got some fans. I know you got some fans out there. Someone's hoping for you that one man to make it deep by himself as we wait for another engagement to kick off. Some more razzmatazz, a little action, a little combat going on. We got X-Fam pushing in over towards Harvester as well now. A couple of teams have this split, some on top, some on the inside, some in the tunnels, some in that incline. But at the end of the day, you don't really want to risk just walking into one of these fights because you know that there's so many other teams waiting. As soon as you hear gunfire, everybody's slamming that W key, going in on it. And, the last thing that you want to do is get a double kill or something like that and then get hit with 3 arc stars at the same time. That's the type of Nani moment you want to avoid in Apex Legends.
Someone is trying to make it in from the storm. It looks like a team trying to rotate in there. Thame, TH on top of it. Caustic still in play. I'm a little bit surprised they're not. Caustic wasn't in that harvester area trying to put traps in that large building, of course, but electing to stay away from that area for now.
Now we've got Nitsura-sama here. Caustic, nice shooting. Tex gets the knock on J-Dox, and he's looking to finish him up with that triple take. He says, I got the bullets. I got ammo for days. Let's clean it up. Let's get it over. Is he going to be able to get that finish? I'll keep my eyes on the kill feed and see if he can get that secured or not. The position is still tenuous regardless. There you go. Jack Q has been also super reliable on that flat line. Drops down, going to get some finish offs here. Beautiful cleanup for the squad. That's exactly what we were looking at. Thame, TH, these guys have been a little bit here, a little bit there. Not quite, I think, where some of the expectations might have been, as I felt like they came into this pretty strong. And we get a look at someone just crying by themselves in the corner. Poor King from Dynasty. His teammates are dead. He's all alone by himself. This is an Avengers level threat. I'm not sure he's going to be able to handle it by himself.
This must be the drone from Wolfpack Arctic. They were running crypto last game and they got second. It must be. It must be. There was another team running crypto. Now that I think about it, the Revenant team, I believe. So. We shall see. Okay, yeah, it is the Wolfpack Arctic team. They are still around. 11 squads left, believe it or not. And this is just that valuable information that they are favoring at this point. They haven't run this. They haven't run crypto between yesterday and today. Only last game did they run crypto, I believe. Last game and this game. So just favoring that information, and we can see how valuable that is. Fly a little drone and go scout out where these other teams are. And here's our hero from Sweet Assist. Trying to get in the top 5.
Oh no, but he's been found. No. Resting Alfredo Fettuccine. Sweet Assist. Good night, sweet. Good night, sweet prince.
How'd they find them? Dang it.
That's why.
I'm not biased.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is why Bloodhound is in the game. This guy's fault. Yes. And ladies, that scan is useful. The hunting tracks, all of that information is valuable for a reason. As Direwolves is going to keep it on the move here. That Beast of the Hunt comes to an end for Bloodhound. There are still 10 squads total, so we've got a decent amount of players remaining for these last couple of rings that we're going to get into.
Looking at Direwolves here, one of our teams that is deeply in contention. But again, remember, Wolfpack Arctic, they are alive. They are around. They're somewhere in this lobby using their crypto drone to see what's going on, like us. We're the broadcasters, our observer crypto drone. Good job, observer.
They would need an epic throw to lose this, right? So they've been playing it very safe, very smart, very conservatively. Athame getting some shots from the high ground, though. Below, they see in the little ravine under the bridge some opportunity. Gibraltar ult is going to force a reposition. However, Natsuru Sama taking some shots over from Harvester. Needs to be careful. Pops up, has the flat line. 3x going to trail. Pops 3 times for 19. But that level 5 Evo shield can soak a lot of damage. Axel toss, and he's going to get popped.
No, that's a Kraber. And guess who has it? Wolfpack Arctic. They're getting better and better. A Kraber to boot. That was cinematic, what we just saw there. The shot from the darkness and then the switch over to Wolfpack Arctic. Yes, in case you didn't know, Wolfpack Arctic, they are still in control of this region.
They are doing fantastically and making the most of that. As you pointed out, that filthy Kraber shot. You know, it's always fun when we get to spectate the player getting the headshots with the Kraber. But when you're spectating the player on the receiving end, you know, you can feel the pain through the screen. Right, I didn't realize computers had developed that level of interfacing technology, but I definitely felt the pain watching that one happen. So we've got XFAM hiding in the little ravine, easy to shoot down on, easy to throw nades in on, but you'd have to get pretty close to do anything with it, right? So they're just going to move very patiently, very methodically. I don't see any reason for Wolfpack to give up their position. They still have plenty of Kraber shots.
Yeah, eight shots is a lot. We already saw how effective one shot was in real time. And of course, you got the crypto helping you out. You got the drone and be like, okay, he's over there. And then you get the Kraber out, take the shot. Oh! But there's another. And that's going to trigger a push.
That goes up. Yeah, gets that second jump off of it, but not enough. Gets knocked on the engage. Careful. So Zeratas goes in deep and gets cut off, leaving Kazance and Twizzy to fend for themselves. Gibraltar Bubble is going to get popped. Can see a little bit of that damage that was ticking earlier on the knockdown for the enemy player. Is going to pick him off. Gets Rakasan. That causes Witsy to bleed out. And Bullet L as well getting picked off by Twizzy. We got 1 minute and 20 as this final circle is going to close in. There's another Gibraltar ultimate coming in. Not a whole lot of cover here for Kazance, just chilling next to the rock, hanging in there as much as humanly possible. But look how many teams we have just kind of nuzzled up to that last little sanctuary of Harvester, that last little bit of building to hide behind. We still have X Team, Wolfpack, Shadow, Arctic, Invade Esport, and Team Grape in it. Team Grape, who came in as one of the stronger teams result-wise for APAC South, unfortunately, have not really been able to demonstrate that here today. They had a couple of good rounds early, but they have lacked in the consistency that we've seen out of the Wolfpack teams, who have just been fantastic. And these guys, too, have been, in my opinion, really, really on top of it. X Team, I've been saying it over and over again, but Belkun, he has been an absolute rock in the storm for these guys to lean on as a support. The rest of the players, of course, have been doing well too, but man, he's really stood out to me in this. Sayajin has been fantastic on the engage, but his teammates both get knocked on the way in. Then you see a little bit. That's just the way that it happens, man. Little third-party action is going to get that quick res off, but that's when everybody else comes in. Wolfpack Shadow gets caught on the inside, and Kazance letting it rip. We got some thermites over there, and it looks like one Wolfpack may be about to cull the other.
Yeah, I mean, the worst spot imaginable for Wolfpack Shadow here, and Wolfpack Arctic has just the easiest line of sight imaginable on that. I was kind of wondering if that fight there would just trigger everyone just jumping into the fight, but that hasn't really happened. There's still two teams posturing inside the mega structure there, the Harvester mega structure. Yeah, they're still just chilling inside there. And by the way, once again, both Wolfpack teams in our top 3, both of these teams showing up absolutely huge over the last couple days.
Yeah, these guys have been incredible. Wolfpack Arctic just really, really bringing it in a big way. But we've just got these last couple of teams hiding around the last little bit of building cover. It does look like Big Z's going to have to open the door for his squad, because I think they're going to be the first forced out. A bit of the roof is still there. The other terrain for Wolfpack Arctic's not really there, and this third-party action will be getting started as the fight begins. Bubbles up top, bubbles down below. Kazance doesn't does he see that? Oh, say Lahim was right on top of him. So they're going to jump on top of the other squad, which gives Wolfpack Arctic the opportunity to walk in and mop them up. Beautiful play. And that's another win for Wolfpack Arctic in the second to last round. I mean, we're going to, you know, at some point, we're going to do that thing. We're going to look at the highlights. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about what happened. We're going to get ready for the next match and look at the scores. But I feel like this game for the scores is going to do pretty much what they needed, and that's seal the deal for first place, because Direwolves was not the team that I saw being as I don't know, as dominant. They needed to win out, I feel like, and the fact that Wolfpack Arctic was able to get that done was just amazing. And another great look at this jump pad. That's Nathaniel's jump pad. If you guys wanted a preview of my Octane gameplay, it's a little bit like that. More emote spam though. And some beautiful shots, some beautiful sniper shots we got to see in this game too, out of Caustic, out of that Gibraltar, and then that Kraber from the Horizon leader as well.
And we're going to see that in a second here. Yeah, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, that jump pad, he bashed his head right on that roof. That looked like it hurt. Going through the highlights here, yeah, Wolfpack Arctic, man. Boom, Kraber shot. That was a nice one. We had one earlier where we got to see the other side of that. We were literally on the sights of a bad guy, and then we see him get taken out by a Kraber. And it's like, who is it? Well, Wolfpack Arctic. And then at the end there, it's like
a Mastiff to close it out.
Almost,
so that was.
It almost felt like inevitable, where it's like, you know, you're thinking about Wolfpack Arctic, how well they're playing, and then you're seeing this fight unfold, and it's like, wait a second, this is kind of going Wolfpack Arctic's way. They were playing it perfectly. They were being the third party. They were kind of playing a little bit passively, letting that fight unfold just a little bit, and then jumping at just the right time. Nathanius, it's a good team, believe it or not. I don't know. I mean, I'm being super world's edgy fantastic here, but
I'm just glad, like, the thing that we get to see with a bit of the replays is the other angle of that, where he went in with the Mastiff to close it. But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to tally up the results and get ready for the final round for APAC South. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the GLL Spring Masters. We'll be right back. Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the GLL Spring Masters here for Apex Legends. I'm Nathanius. With me is Axeltoss, and we are about to get into the final round for APAC South. That's right. We've gone through 15 matches for Apex Legends on World's Edge, but there is only one more to decide who is going to walk away with all of the marbles. Axeltoss, Wolfpack Arctic have been clapping hard this weekend.
Wolfpack Arctic effectively running away with this region. I don't know if there's another way to put it. They have been so dominant, very consistent, not really a lot of questions around their play or like doubts or anything. They're not leaving any doubts out there, and they're coming through, taking care of business. And as I said earlier, they want in on this North America-Europe show match tomorrow. It sounds like, as we saw them take down that most previous game, match number 15 out of 16, which gives them 194 points, well above second place. The Direwolves, who are having a phenomenal weekend as well. I guess, you know, if Direwolves were to win and kill everyone in the lobby, and Wolfpack Arctic were to get last, then maybe, yes, Direwolves can somehow get first place, but Wolfpack Arctic would have to melt away. They'd have to be Wolfpack Summer instead of Wolfpack Arctic, because they have such a significant lead here, and they're probably going to be our champions. Yeah.
There's no way they're. And I don't mind cursing it. There's absolutely no way Wolfpack Arctic is gonna lose it here. The amount, just to give you an idea, 12 points would put them at 165, right? But Direwolves at 165. So to get to 194, they would need 29 more points to tie, which would mean 29 kills. So they need 30 kills, which is literally half of the players. No, I can't do math.
And they also need Wolfpack Arctic to do nothing, yes, right?
Yeah, you absolutely cannot afford to do that. No, actually, I might have been correct. That might actually be half the players in the lobby. It sounds so insane. I can't even believe myself anymore.
Never tell me the odds. It's one of those. It's one of those.
Yeah, exactly. I'm waiting for a copy of myself to appear behind me with a knife or something. That's yeah. So they need to win and get over 30 kills, and that's not enough. Wolfpack Arctic needs to die outside of the top 15 for that to give them the win. So,
without any kills, to be clear.
Without any kills, yes. Wolfpack Arctic would just need to immediately die and probably be killed by everybody else actually as well. So we may need maybe just restarting this one. if somebody disconnected or something wasn't working, but we'll be getting into that game shortly.
Or they
So,
need like
yeah.
a catastrophic admin mistake somehow. Where, like,
I mean, I don't even think that could do it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, there's really only ever going to be so many different ways that you can handle these types of situations. And I think Wolfpack Arctic has just shown that they have been dominant. But I think we're going to actually need a couple minutes to reset that lobby up because it is a bit of a specific process. So we're going to go to a quick break. When we return, that game will be ready. Since I don't know how long it's going to take, don't want to just talk your ears off about nonsense. So we'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are good to go and ready to get into this final round. Do apologize for that. Of course, we had to get everybody back in the lobby. A couple players needed to restart their games, and let's face it, we've only got so many things that we can do to try to talk your ears off while we get ready for these matches. So I have been told we've got everybody together. We're going to be starting this map soon. I'm Nathanius. With me is Axel Toss, and we're going to be finding out, I guess, who's going to possibly take over second place, because I feel like our math, I feel like people in the chat kind of agreed. It's kind of an impossible feat for Wolfpack Arctic to really lose first place in this scenario.
by the way, I feel like a lot of people would enjoy the Nathanius Axel Toss podcast. Just want to put that out there, okay? We could have done it. We could have held it down. But yeah, this is a foregone conclusion. Effectively, this might be a fight for second. It's effectively a fight for second place. Wolfpack Arctic running away in the region, just having an absolutely phenomenal weekend. And by the way, guys, this is the last match for us. We've covered 8 matches yesterday, 8 matches today, all in the APAC South region. The European finals, I believe, are coming up next. And then after that are the North American finals, all here on this channel. So a ton of Apex Legends still coming your way. And then we're going to be back tomorrow covering the North America versus Europe show match, which should be really interesting. And that'll be 2 hours from now tomorrow. So 26 hours from now. Set your timers.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. I think that one starts at 9 a.m. Pacific. We looked a little bit at the map, of course. Those have been some of our, or maybe that's our call time. I'm not 100% sure. The documents read a little different for the casters. They expect us to show up before the show starts. You know, I thought we were like Twitch chat. Like when they press go live, we just come here and just talk and just say whatever, and it doesn't matter whether we know what we're talking about. But apparently, I was wrong about that. This K7 Esports over here in the Northeast. It's been a pleasure following these guys throughout today's and yesterday's events. Don't worry, Sweet Assist is already dead, so we don't need to talk about that. But yeah, cha-cha-cha-cha, woo-woo-woo. It has been a lot of fun watching you guys kick some butt. Oh, it's the dog. He's got a little cha-cha-cha going on himself. I didn't, no one tells me these things are going to happen, but I appreciate that. Thank you, production. You guys are fantastic.
I believe they took out Sweet Assist, by the way. Literally in the first few seconds of everyone landing.
Oh, that was them who killed Sweet Assist. Nice.
Yeah, cha-cha-cha-cha,
Nice.
and whoa.
I bet Exo's pretty pissed they didn't land in tunnels again, huh? They missed
They're
out.
looking for him. They're looking for him right now.
So sad. So sad. Wolfpack Arctic is in the Northwest, by the way. They're just chilling by Countdown. So we'll be definitely keeping our eyes. They need to die immediately, and they can't get any kills. And then we need to see that Direwolves team kill. Was it 31? They need 31 kills, or was it just 30?
Probably
kills? 30 kills
already,
in first place.
Might already be impossible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Math. 19, 18 times, 17 times. 3.
2 teams are gone. 2 teams have been eliminated. Najah got picked as well prior to this.
One of those teams eliminated is not Wolfpack Arctic, so this very well might be. I mean, we can think of this as a fight for second. Direwolves, once again, to remind everyone, Direwolves, they're in second place right now, closely followed by Wolfpack Shadow. Grape and we are Trash technically in contention as well, being in the top 5. X Team and EXO are also in that vicinity of the top 5. So those teams are really who we're going to be watching. Like EXO would love to play well here and get a top 5. Also, EXO doesn't have a win yet during these during the 16 matches, the 15 matches we've seen between today and yesterday. And obviously, everyone loves a whoa and cha-cha-cha-cha. So K7 Esports, they are also in contention to be in the top 5. So they would love to have a huge game.
Oh yeah, and you know, you still as a competitor, as a professional, you still take it seriously. You still want to go out, you know, go out of your way as hard as you can, go get it done, get as much work done as you can, and really try to set yourself up for a positive end to this tournament, because it has been a grind. It's been a long, arduous effort for most of these players, especially since some of them got pretty bad luck on a couple of the engagements, a couple of the fights. Things looked good, things felt good, but things didn't end up working out. So I just think that it's been a really fun time. And like we said, and like Axeltoss has been saying, we had 16 rounds total. This is the 16th and final round. The determining factor for who wins is quite simply just total points based on placements, based on kills. No, there is no match point, nothing like that. Whoever wins this one final round doesn't close it all out, but the points that have been earned over the course of this weekend have really solidified Wolfpack Arctic in a beautiful spot. As we take a look at Dynasty, ESC, these guys have kind of been, they've been getting a little bit later into the rounds today, but came off pretty cold yesterday. We didn't really get to see, I felt, enough of them. Composition-wise, nothing really felt off. Their fights have been okay. I just think maybe the speed of some of these other teams has been a bit overwhelming for them.
Just got to find a Kraber or something. I mean, it's kind of funny because Wolfpack Arctic, literally every time we pan over to them, they have a Kraber or something in their hands. It's happened a few times in our matches. So again, all this consistency is a combination of a bunch of things. Rotating properly, finding those care packages, listening for third parties, pure mechanics. Speaking of which, I believe a few of these teams are streaming. So if you guys want to check out and support some of these players, I definitely encourage you to check out the content that they make and definitely show them your support. I see some people in the chat listing the names of some of the players who are streaming, and I believe they mentioned the members of Wolfpack Arctic are actually have their streams up, I believe. So definitely check out and support all these players who are streaming their gameplay.
Yeah, definitely worth doing. Should definitely check that out. We got player K landing a couple of shots. Team Exo getting into a scrap on West. Guys are trying to trail some bullets out of that flat line going up, but no hop-ups, no attachments. Make it a little bit tough. Comes off the side for the flank on King, but Jaro is knocked. Needs to try and keep his teammate alive. 23 seconds left on that ult, so plenty to work with. Uses the portal to try and bring it all back. Get Jaro on the inside. Let him get that res up if possible. But these guys have been playing this cliffside quite tenaciously. Not that there's a ton of gear or anything over here. Like, there's plenty of building cover in Geyser, but that high ground, if you try to go outside, if you want to take that fight, I think it could end up being a little bit of a mistake for Team Exo. So they definitely want to make sure that they're not getting baited too hard in this kind of situation, because they're one of those teams, if they pop off, if they get some huge kills, maybe this is their opportunity to try to climb up the ranks a little bit.
Kind of playing footsie using that portal. Not necessarily committing just yet. And now we're looking over here. Wolfpack Arctic not going with the crypto this time. Going with the Revenant, Gibraltar, and Octane. Kind of changing up, making a lot of changes to the legends they decide to play in each of these rounds, which is just fine. And again, Wolfpack Arctic, they're trying to play calm, cool, collected, pick up some kills, and just survive a little bit. They effectively already have it in the bag. Wolfpack Arctic putting on a showcase in Apex Legends in the APAC South region. Definitely proving they're going to be a team to be reckoned with in any competitions to come.
Yeah, and I kind of like this though. I'm never gonna say that it's a bad idea in an almost basically unlosable situation. As long as they're still trying, they should be totally fine to mix up what the composition choices they make are. As we've got Team K7
ambush
right outside waiting. He's got the Volt and gonna get some shots straight into Zeratas. So Zeratas gets knocked. K7 looking to pick some points up on the tail end here and take out that team that we were talking about. They really cannot afford. Well, I don't know. Can I really say that? They need second place to get 30 kills. But anyway, I'm going to hype it up anyway, because people don't want me to act like it's over. And Cha-Cha-Cha-Cha-Cha is actually on Horizon this time instead of Octane. They gave Octane to Roy. Woo is on the Pathfinder from that last game. But of course, you take a little bit more damage. You're a little bit squishy squish, even if your model is made out of Swiss cheese. The K7 holding strong, have not been able to topple Wolfpack Arctic just yet.
taking the fight to them. I mean, they completely ambushed them. Element of surprise. A lot of people in Apex Legends are like, run to the fight, run to the fight. Sometimes it's okay to just be still, let someone come to you, and then try to take them out. Oh, whoa, whoa, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, and Roy from K7 Esports doing a great job kind of setting up that ambush. I don't know. I think Wolfpack Arctic might be down to 2 players at this point, I believe. Not 100% sure, but K7 Esports is doing a great job getting the jump on them.
Yeah, and Takea-san coming through the tunnel here. Of course, we were talking about this. When you're playing these tunnel rings and whatnot, you kind of get into these awkward spots where you get pinched. You're trying to can prevent anybody who's coming in from outside the ring going through that tunnel and backstabbing you. And at the same time, you're never going to be 100% certain whether or not anybody is waiting on the outside of that ring to jump on top of you to capitalize on those kicks. He gets Kazance. Takes down Kazance, gets the knock on Twizzy. This is a really big opportunity, getting some Wolfpack Arctic kills, yeah. And I don't actually think that he was able to escape off the other side. So did one of them get away? Is that a full wipe for Team Arctic? I think it might be. Yeah, Wolfpack Arctic is out, so no placement points. I don't know 100% if they were able to grab a kill on the way out there, but now all we need is Direwolves to get 30 kills, and they could tie for first place. And they need to win as well. Let's keep that in mind. They need to win. It's like 45 points or something that they need to grab in this final game.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds.
So I'm curious about our K7 Esports squad here. That's not them that we're looking at, but they're deeper in the tunnel. Whoa, cha-cha-cha-cha and company. They need to figure out a way to rotate into a better spot. And I'm a little bit worried that they're going to be caught out because they're still really far out there. So we'll stay tuned on that. A lot of late rotations into this circle.
And we've got Bastion over here on the Octane. Gets the shield battery through. Has a turbocharger on that Havoc. You've got to be wary of that. A pretty tremendous amount of firepower. 100 extra rounds in tow is very nice to have on that energy mag. Swaps over to R99 with the gold sight. Gets a decent bit of damage on the shield front, though. It is the Gibraltar. A little bit chonkier, a little bit tankier. Bastion's going to slip out. Salvatores is knocked Doom MVP, just trying to hold things down on his own for Team Noir. And I assume what we're going to see is the shield battery possibly just take the jump pad to go back in for the support or run away because he's still under attack. Trying not to get picked. Oh.
Pigeon shooting.
Wow.
Pull.
Crack him up.
Got him. Nowhere to run there. You can be Octane and you can throw any jump pad you want, but if there's teams shooting at you from all directions, that's going to be hard to get away from that.
Yeah, not a whole lot you could have done there. Trying to jump away is one thing, but of course you're very, very visible when you're flying through the air. And the bad part about being visible in a game where there are pro players is that they know how to aim. So, well, should know how to aim. We've seen a couple of whips here and there, but I think that's also just the pressure and the stress. The competition has been tremendously fierce. Gibby ult pinning them inside a little bit. We see Takea-san with Team PK and those gamers in the other building across the side. So we've got about 4 teams in a reasonably close proximity, maybe a little bit more. Team Exo isn't too far away. We've got Cha-Cha-Cha-Cha fighting on the inside of this station. Some bullets coming down from the roof. They're going to need to reposition. There are, of course, the stairs on the side entrances of this building. If you want to try to force your way up, they did get a knock. Roy going to try to go for the finish. That blue shield takes a little bit to punch through. They've eliminated Knight from the game. And they do have the mobility, so they actually don't have to use the stairs. They can all basically fly.
Ooh, cha-cha-cha-cha there by Little Flame from PK. I was going to say, K7 Esports having a great game, but have they met their match here? PK, look at their shield situation, doing just fine. 2 purple shields, they got a gold shield. Devotion with the turbocharger, I'll take that. Let's see if the rescue can happen for K7 Esports, or if this will be them out of this match. PK, again, they look like they're in such a strong spot that Devotion is shredding. He is getting low on health, or excuse me, low on ammo, low on that energy ammo. He's going to switch over to R301, try and dash out some more damage. Oh, whoa, looks like he's going to be knocked. Only 1 man up from K7 Esports, and PK is looking pretty good.
Yeah, they've taken a good position. Now climbing up following is, we do have Lehem from X Team on the Bloodhound. Beast of the Hunt, just trying to use that vision. I like that. Climb up, poke, fall back, wait for the rest of the team to show up, go in together, maybe step outside, pop the shield battery, and try to get back in there. Yeah, we've got all of those teams.
Fifth
I think
party?
we're looking at 4 or 5. There were like 5 or 6 teams here at the beginning before the engagement started, and they all seem to have rotated over towards the circle, as they should have. But I wasn't sure if the fight was going to happen back where they originally were or over here. It seems to be the latter.
I think our heroes, K7 Esports, probably not coming out on top during that altercation that just happened. X Team, they were like the third party, and they're running away from the fight. That's how many more teams are involved here. PK still holding strong, decent shield situation, decent amount of ammo. Also, I'm wondering about Little Flame's energy ammo count. Right now we're seeing his R301. I have a feeling he doesn't have too much ammo on that devotion, so gotta be careful about that. Maybe not the best ammo situation here for PK. Let's see if they can get out of this situation. He's got the jump pad available, but that's a lot of damage happening from above. Trying to get his shields up. Also stimming. He almost got knocked there. He did get knocked.
Oh, brutal. Tried so hard to get it going. Kie wanted to save the day. But unfortunately, his life is the one with which he has to pay inside the ring. We're getting a look
Wait,
at those
Roy
guys.
is still up. Roy from K7. Whoa. I think. Wait, are they all still up?
K7's been making it happen. It was the other squad that just got rocked there.
One down.
Unfortunately. Yeah, it was
Shaw is down, yeah.
It was a tough fight. It was a very, very tough fight. But the other 2 of them are still up. The inside of that building just became a bloodbath. Wolfpack is actually still there. They're kind of just barely crawling out on the top, I think.
Oh, chasing the inside the ring, Emilia's. Player K is going to get him. EXO, they're kind of together. They've got decent shield situations. 7 squads left. Wouldn't this be a great one for EXO to win? Dire Wolves, by the way, for everyone. We're down to 7 squads already. I don't know if we noted that, but 1 player left from Dire Wolves. They were the team trying to close the gap. I think it's all, but it's definitely a conclusion at this point. Wolfpack Arctic are going to be our champions of APAC South, but now who's going to get second? Who's going to get in that top 5? EXO would love to win. They have yet to have a win during the 16 matches from today and yesterday. This would be a huge win for EXO. Let's see if they can pull it off.
Now Player K going for it. The shield's going to cancel. Gets 57 tracked onto the opponent. It looks like just about 20 or so on that gold armor. Trying their best to get everything back up together. Rocky does get knocked. It's Jaro and Player K very low on health, high on shields. But they're unable to close this out just yet. Goes for the scan. He's going to try and move up on the flank with that flat line. Has the purple mag. Plenty of bullets to unload and a great cleanup there. He hits 1,000 damage. Player K's dished out 1,000 damage in this game. 1,200 for the teammate that's knocked. These guys have really been pushing the pedal to the metal. As we take a look back over at Team Grape, running around this. I love the beautiful scenery out here as they make their way towards that next circle, as it's getting very small, but also very, very kind of out in the open. So whoever runs into the middle of that is going to be exposed to anyone on the high ground outside, waiting for that circle to push all of them in.
Still a couple full squads over here. Looking at Bear Claw, all red shields. They're going to be feeling good about that. Probably listening for a third party, looking to make a fight happen. Only 4 squads remaining. I'm not sure if K7 is still involved. We know that EXO is still around. Yeah, K7 has been knocked out. Wolfpack Shadow gone. Dire Wolves out. Invade only 1 remaining. I think that was that Gibraltar we're looking at. Yep, looking at him right now. Leaving Grape, EXO, and Bear Claw. Bear Claw might have the advantage just because of their shields right now and maybe their position, but look out for EXO to take this match personally and pretend that this is last match wins, that is not the format here. It's an overall points format, but maybe EXO can pretend if they win this match, they win the tournament.
I mean, at the end of the day, if first place is that far, you may as well put everything on the line for trying to get up to that second. The prize money is still nice. You still want to move up as high up as you can. The results will be good. Of course, you know, these guys have careers. They're trying to do their best to make sure that they're ready for the next tournament that's going to come after this. And like we've been saying, you know, Apex is about to get a big shakeup while we're waiting for this next fight to get underway. You know, they've got some huge stuff coming with that season, that legacy season that they're dropping, the release of Valkyrie, Arenas mode, the bow, and of course, bringing Peacekeepers back into regular loot tables is something that's, I think,
is that happening too?
I think to the best of my knowledge, yeah, that was what I was hearing. I am from Pennsylvania. I can't really read, but I do think that one was in the patch notes with the other ones. And you have another character that can shoot a grenade off of their arm Hopefully, well, since you can fly, it should be a little bit better than fuses, but we'll see. I'm ready to be a Valkyrie main.
We're a few days from that happening, so I'm sure a lot of people excited for that, and also new format changes coming to the game, at least new modes available to play, new potential competitive modes. We might be commentating some new formats, some new game modes at Apex Legends, so I'm excited for the future, but we'll have to see how this finishes up. 4 squads left. EXO, they would love doing this. I'm sure we've got some Aussie fans in the chat. We haven't had an Australian team win in a match, and EXO getting fired upon. That's Bear Claw Gaming. They've been chasing them, hunting them like a bear with their red shields. They've got to be feeling confident, and remember, they've got high ground too, so they're in a pretty nice position. I'm not feeling great about EXO.
It timed the horizontal perfectly there. Timed the horizontal perfectly with the end of the bubble, pulled them all to the side. Easy cleanup on Team EXO for them. So Bear Claw Gaming looking fantastic here. They're taking it up. Only one other team left for them to go and try to take down. They know where all of them are. They're just on the other side by those supply crates. Their team is split up a little bit.
We've
got Big Z and Bunny Hop, but these guys don't really have anywhere to run. And they're up against level 5 Evo Shield. Sun Series takes a bit of heat. They're going to throw the bubble down and try to make that push forward. Rudine coming in off the R99 is going to get the one knock. Looking for the Gibby next, and that is going to be it. Bear Claw Gaming will take the final round of today's Apex Legends APAC South Grand Finals. And that brings us a wonderful cap to an incredibly hectic event. This started off pretty conservative yesterday. Can't lie. Axeltos and I, we were doing APAC North earlier this month. We talked about how those guys were just insanely aggressive the entire time. Fights literally every single game at the very beginning. We came over to this round. Unfortunately, even with Wolfpack Arctic taken out early on, we did not see Dire Wolves get first place and 30 kills. So Wolfpack Arctic is definitely going to be your winners today as far as point standings go. But a really great fight put up by everybody else. And watching the progression of teams like K7, who went from meme to dream basically over the course of today, they really stepped it up. And it was just a really exciting, dynamic array of games to watch. A lot more chaotic than your typical, more slow, standard EU, NA, rotation-based 15 teams in the final circle play.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of different play styles. We saw a lot of different legends being chosen by different players. A lot of different strategies come into play. Look at that at the end. Oh my gosh, the ult pulling EXO into their demise. EXO melting away. Bear Claw getting a nice win at the end there. You always love winning the last one. It just feels good. A lot of people watching, and you get to show off some skills. Bear Claw got second place in one match yesterday, but we had a lot of independent winners, a lot of parity in this region, which is really cool to see. A lot of independent winners doing their own thing, but at the end of the day, Wolfpack Arctic certainly running away with it. It felt close at first, but then Wolfpack Arctic just putting together the consistency. No other team was able to achieve that level of consistency, just consistently in the top 3, second, third, second, first, and then also racking up a ton of kills. We're crunching the data right now, so we're going to get the final numbers, but I'm just really impressed with Region, really impressed with Wolfpack Arctic. I know we have a show match coming tomorrow with North America versus Europe. I'd love to see more out of, and I am looking forward to seeing more out of both APAC North and APAC South. Maybe they should have a show match at some point, too.
Yeah, well, only time will tell. Taking a look at the prize pool for everybody tuning in. So we're talking about what people are playing for. Of course, first place prize, we were talking about how Wolfpack Arctic had clearly set themselves apart from the rest of the pack. Haha. $5,000, of course, is a nice chunk of change to walk away with. But playing for second place is also not too shabby either, when it's still $2,500 and even all the way down to 5th. So players, of course, were trying to win. You obviously want to get up as high as you can. Just because you can't get first place does not mean that you're not going to be able to still walk away with something. So but like we were saying, in order to make those 40 points, you're going to need that first place 12, right? And then 30 more kills to catch up with that massive difference. Here are your scores for round 16. Bear Claw Gaming with 12 points and 11 kills gained 23. Fantastic, great, grand, wonderful. Wolfpack Arctic actually did not get any points in that game, but unfortunately, Dire Wolves only scored 4. They got 4 placement points, no kills, and that leaves them with not enough I believe, to overcome it. So as we take the final tally, Wolfpack Arctic with 194 total points, 95 placement, 99 kills. You know, breaking into triple digits is fun, but honestly, I think the 99 is still plenty enough to brag about. Congratulations to them. Direwolves do secure that second place prize, so that's fantastic. 2,500 going to them, and Wolfpack Shadow in third place, followed of course by prize money winners We Are Trash and Grape. So
yeah,
Wolfpack Arctic gets some revenge for ALGS. They are now on top here in GLL Masters Spring, and I'm very excited to see how they end up performing through the rest of the year in the other APAC events.
I was looking really closely at the fight for top 5, and you can see only 1 point separating Grape and EXO for that 5th spot to get that prize money. It's so close at the end there, and we saw EXO really step it up in that last game. 10 kills, a fair amount of kills, honestly, and getting a nice placement in the match as well. Also, shout out to K7 Esports, certainly a fan favorite. They went pretty huge in that last game. Honestly, they were pretty fun to watch. Like, they were picking some good engagements, having some nice fights, some pretty dynamic play. So cool to see K7 doing pretty well, but not. They weren't, you know, you could tell they were trying to go for top 5, but just barely weren't able to edge themselves into the top 5.
Yeah, and hey, it's still a fantastic effort put forth. You know, I think the biggest things that I tried to keep track of, or I was paying attention to between yesterday and today, it was really nice to see that progression of some of those teams stepping up, and they've just done an absolutely fantastic job. So that brings us to the conclusion for APAC South Grand Finals. Coming up, there is still going to be the conclusion for EU later today, and then after that, the conclusion for NA. And we are done commentating for today, but we will be back tomorrow for the NA versus Europe show match. So that should be a lot of fun. It'll be a little bit later for us. Be fun to do some of the NA and the EU teams. But that's about all I've got to say. Any last words before we wrap this one up, Axel?
Hey, this is a lot of fun. Shout out to everyone watching in the chat. Thanks for checking out the stream, and I'm sure you guys are going to love the matches that we have upcoming, Europe finals and North America finals. And of course, we have the show match coming up too. So always fun to be involved with some Apex Legends. Excited for the update that is incoming. And I hope that everyone has a great weekend.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the GLL Grand Finals taking place today, as well as some fun tomorrow if you tune in for our show match. But that does it for us here. We love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day.